What's up, Larry? How you doing?
What's up, Roy? I'm doing well. The the legend talked. Say the truth.
The legend has spoken.
Corporate America cannot shut up the legends.
That's right.
They don't care about contracts and money.
Yeah. Values. Values are more important.
Yeah, your reputation is more important. Anyway, I've prepared some paper here of the Maldini interview. I translated directly from the source.
Okay.
Uh, and we're gonna go through. It's not. I think it's like how many pages? 7, 8, 9 pages. We can go through as quick as possible, but just more like a reaction of what he's saying. And let's see what the chat says, but no more than 1 hour. Let's say
Yeah.
5 minutes each slide, or at least the longest one, maybe a bit longer. But let's go.
Okay. So let's just go with the first thing that he said. This is so if a club has been sold for 1.2 billion and the new owners want to make changes, they have the right to do so. But people and roles must be respected. I had to reach an agreement for my rights. My love for Milan remains unconditional, and as the son of Cesare, as a former captain, as a father to Christian and Daniel, as an executive in 5 fantastic years. However, the information is not directed towards the truth. Those who say otherwise know they're lying to themselves. Fortunately, it seems to me that the public is not easily influenced. My relationship with Cardinale, in a year, just one chat plus 4 of his messages. Um, he said, we had to trust each other. I did. How it went it is well known. I believe the decision to fire us had been made months before, and there were those who knew it. The contract, 2 years with an option to renew, was offered to me on June 30, 2022, at 10 p.m. It was too unpopular to let us go after the Scudetto. The day of the dismissal, Cardinale told me that Massari and I were fired. Well, let's stop there. Like, what are your thoughts on all of this so far?
So my thoughts is, you remember almost 2 years ago, when Maldini was renewing his contract and he waited until 10 p.m. at night and he was not sure to sign. And everyone was like, if Maldini doesn't sign, I'm going to boycott the club and everything like this. And I was like, I want Maldini to sign because I don't want him to give up now, because it's not what Maldini will do. I want him to stay another year, even if the budget is short, to try his best, because I want him to run this club. And I will feel, you know, uh, kind of a bit down if he does that. And he actually didn't do that. He was faithful to Milan, and he stayed another year, and he kind of a fight for a year against these snakes in Milanello to kind of bring the team to a success. And he did it, because he finished fourth and he achieved semifinals. So he had a financial success. He brought the club. When he started, the club was in big debt. The revenues were under 200 million, and he brought the club to 400 million revenues, semi-final of Champions League, at the top level of Europe,
Yeah,
So he is the man I thought he was.
absolutely. No
So
doubt about
I'm happy on that. Now I know the truth. He did it for us, for the fan. He stayed another year in an environment that any other person would say, "Fuck you, I'm leaving. I'm not staying here."
it. Um, uh, yes, look, to me, it is crazy. To me, it is crazy that he came out and said all of these things. It was really unexpected. And yeah, I'm reading the chat, and to a certain point, it is stuff that we already knew because we sensed it. It was the logical thing that was happening. But for him to actually literally say pretty much verbatim everything that we thought was happening, gives it a shock. There's a shock value to it because these are big words. A lot of attacks in this whole thing. Is there anything in particular from this first paragraph that Larry, you want to maybe stop
Uh,
on? Maybe
I'm
one.
shocked how the chat saying, "Oh, we knew that," but until now, no one actually told me those things. Everyone was telling me, "Oh, Maldini got fired because doesn't believe on the project and bullshit like that." Man, the man got fired. He got inside the room and they told him, "You're fired." And now we'll know the next one. No
Well,
one told me here that he had a bad vibe with Furlani. No one here in this chat. People are saying, "Oh, we knew these things." If you knew these things, how the fuck you are protecting this management? You believing in this management?
listen, he does. Maldini in this first part here does say, that a certain propaganda was being pushed, ri-
Yes.
and he said, let's, I want to come clean because lies were being told and were being pushed in the media to essentially make me look bad. That's it. That's what he was saying. So that is very important thing to be said. He is protecting his character, his profession, as a professional, as a person. So he is also doing that. He's not just venting out on things that we already knew. He's also, correcting the record on certain things, which we will get to. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on.
Sorry, 1 second, Roy. Now Paul is being so unfair to us because on all the fucking YouTube channels of Milan and football, me and you and this channel is the only one that fucking say this thing and told what is the reality. Even though we didn't know the reality, we kind of sensed it. We kind of understood a bit how the things were going without really knowing what happened. And Paul is like saying, "Oh, here we go, Lard speaking from his ass again." No, man. Lard is the only person that's been telling you the truth until now.
Well, listen, Larry, for me, okay, aside from Paul and other people and whatever,
Let's go.
whatever, but I want to stay just 1 second on this. The other people that are like there's different kind of people. There are some people that are angry at Paolo Maldini because he came out right now in a moment which is deemed delicate during the season, and there's some people that I'm seeing in comments that are angry about that. Then there's some people in comments that are just like anti Maldini. Is like, I don't know, they just have this hatred for Maldini. I don't get it, but I'm starting to see like a lot of people wake up. Like a lot of people are like, finally like seeing the truth and seeing the light. So that is good. That is good because it is important for Milan that people understand what's going on. Anyway, so in the earlier paragraph, he said, the day of the dismissal, Cardinale told me that Massara and I were fired. I asked why did he talk about poor relations of oh, I asked why and he talked about poor relations with CEO Furlani. Then I said to him, "Have I ever called you to complain about him?" Never. There was also this comment about the lost semifinal with Inter, but the reasons seemed to me a bit weak. The so-called assumptions, the seasonal objectives, were assuming elimination from the Champions League, one round past in the Europa League, and qualification for the next Champions League. So essentially, he's saying that the reasons they gave him to fire him were weak, and they already knew that he was going to get fired. So they already planned it long time in advance that he was going to get fired. The semifinal brought us in at least 70 million more in revenue. Sorry, this I gotta. Okay, the semifinal brought in at least 70 million more in revenue and a record indirect income from sponsors and ticketing. A high level former football is used to being judged every 3 days. As a manager, I grew. In the first 6 months, I felt useless. Leonardo told me, "You're just learning." It's not easy to interact with an American fund or a South African CEO.
Gazidis. Never trust that motherfucker. Never. And people were making fun of me. I never trusted him. Keep going.
Okay. Criticisms about the market. Nothing could be further from the truth and the idea that Diaz Masada and I did not share goals and strategies. And this is one of the things that he is saying was a lie. Because this is what was being pushed
Yes.
by people in the club and also people in the media. But Maldini now is rejecting this. So this is very interesting. I never had nor wanted sign in power. Guys, remember this was being said a lot. This was being thrown out into the media
Yes.
last year. Last year. Mm, not even
Last
for
summer.
loans. Yeah, last summer this was being thrown into by the media. Someone was injecting, you know, propaganda already last year to turn public opinion. That's clever. Not even for loans. Every purchase was endorsed by the CEO and the owners. We chose the players, but sometimes the budget would disappear. It's normal for there to be interference in sports choices, which shift financial balances. It's unfair to accuse us of not having shared them. Many meetings were needed for Ibrahimovic. Out of 35 purchases, they contested De Kettler, who was 21 years old. If you choose boys of that age, the failure rate is higher.
Many meetings to sign Ibrahimovic, to convince Gazidis that doesn't know how to fucking kick a ball which player Maldini should sign on a free, on a fucking free.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Ah,
now that was something that had already come out. That there was a struggle to get Gazidis, and then Gazidis kind of got credit for it.
yes. Fuck me.
Gazidis got credit for it. Listen, I do want to talk about Gazidis a little bit later on, but there are some things I want to say about Gazidis. But okay, no, great point. The other thing that I really want to point out is this, what he's about to say now, which to me is really his strength. To me, this is where we had an elite, exactly where what he's about to say right now. So let me just go back a second. If you choose boys of that age, the failure rate is higher. And this is what he's about to say. They have to be pampered, corrected. Moreover, after 3 months of work, Bob. So I think there's a part missing here, but he's saying, yo, there's a time, a development. You have to, be there. You have to be a support for them. It is that day to day that builds the player, and this is where we are just like from eliteness to that which is such an important part of the sporting infrastructure, just to completely lose it, to go to zero, from 100 to zero. That blow there is too big, too big. Moreover, after 3 months of work, Boba Massad and I were called to London by the owners and CEO and practically delegitimized. They didn't like various players like Leao, Benacer, and Theo. So at least that's him. He's explaining like Leao, Benacer, and Theo. We had to build them. It was a process. But a process was needed. I always remembered where we started from 2018, 2019. We inherited a team that was not young and underperforming. Like, any comments so far?
I've been saying this thing the last 3 years that he got a team that was has to be built from the beginning, from scratch, and all the people around him slowed him down a lot. If Maldini had an owner that would be like, yes, I believe in you. This is the budget. Go ahead, take your decisions. No, he was not even able to take decisions. No, we're not talking about signing power here. Signing power means I don't care how much that player costs. We're going and getting him. No, I'm talking about this is the budget. Now you go out there and do your best. No, they were not telling him the budget. They were checking him everything he was doing, and he needed like 5-6 approval to go ahead with the signing. Something that is crazy in nowadays football. Nowadays football, you convince a player in a half day and you sign him. So a really slow process.
Now the next thing he says for me is very important, because there's too many people that are saying this guy was bad at his job, right? Like especially the people that were angry from of last year, they were saying that for me, it's very important that he put out all the achievements, and he's going to put them out right now. We hadn't played in the Champions League for 6 years, with a squad worth about 200 million and a wage bill of 150. In 4 years of restructuring with young players, net market expenditure after sales was 120 million, 30 per year and 15 per session. The squad's value rose to about 500 million. Wages dropped to 120, and then for 3 years to 100, without having been able to renew Çalhanoğlu and Kessie. And at the end of last season, 3 consecutive Champions League appearances, a Scudetto won after 11 years, a Champions League semi-final after 16, and a positive balance sheet after 17. But if you're on the edge, it only takes one season to ruin the previous work. So you cannot tell me this guy was bad at his job when, he's putting out what the results of his job was. There's what he did in 4 years can usually takes DS's 20 years or even
Yes.
more. So this narrative that he was bad and he was inexperienced, he didn't know what he was doing, is all BS, is propaganda. Did you have anything to say about it too?
This is crazy what he did, man. And people mentioned the bad signing he had. That is a massive sentence over there. It only takes one season to ruin the previous work if you are always on the edge, always with 40 million budget, with controlling the salaries, not renewing the major players. Every fucking season where Maldini was operating that way. Of course, you're gonna make a mistake, and that will cost you an entire season. And thank God it didn't cost the season, because he still finished fourth and we played the semi-final of Champions League. Because the season they gave him 40 million budget, they put him at the edge just for him to fail so they can get rid of him.
Yeah,
And still he
exactly.
succeed.
And Laird, I'm glad you mentioned that because they literally jeopardized Milan
Yeah.
because they didn't have the guts to fire him right away. They literally jeopardized a full season for Milan. You know what? They should have actually fired him right away, but instead they jeopardized a full season.
Crazy, man. Crazy stuff. I mean, I really believe Maldini one day will come back at Milan and be again the sporting director of Milan.
Yeah,
I really believe
I have that feeling too, to be honest.
I really believe it will happen one day.
Wait, here there's a line missing.
Is the line missing? Let me check. No, you can see it now? No. Let me share another. What slide is that? Sorry.
That was 5.
Can I share a screen?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Bring back number 99. Bayern, yeah. Mike Maignan today was linked to Bayern. Of course, guys, our best players are always going to be linked to the big clubs. That's the way it is.
Coming, 1 second, Roy.
What a bunch of Italian idiots.
1 second. I'll put the deck here. Can you see it?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so for the budget, okay, let me make that bigger. The budget for the 23-24 market in March, it hadn't been discussed yet. And you can't wait until June to plan the market. So he was already working on the market. He couldn't wait, right? So that means he started earlier. Then 4 days before the dismissal, Furlani very embarrassingly informed me of a low budget. I took note of it. After our departure, the budget even doubled, net of the sale of Tonali. and the wage bill is finally in line with our plan. It must have become a source of inspiration. How would I have dealt with Tonali? Okay, listen, before we go with Tonali, all right, what do you think about this? This is strange.
So first of all, they are not telling him what is the budget for the next market, which they should tell him before March, so he can start working and making these deals happen. So they didn't tell him. They told him really late that the budget is 35 million. So for him to resign, and he doesn't resign, so they have actually had to fire him now. They tried everything so he can walk out and they can go to the press and say, "Oh, Maldini resigned. He wanted to leave. We didn't fire him." They tried so hard. They couldn't fire him. They couldn't force him to leave. So they had to fire him and pay a bunch of bastards to the press to say bullshit about him. So the fans will hate him.
I'm very curious to see what the response is going to be because some of these things here, these are like, they're pretty strong, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm really curious to see what the response is going to be. I think it can get really ugly, to be honest with you. I think it can get really ugly. Sorry, let me just put this comment down. Okay, we were never totally opposed. Okay, so how would I have dealt with Tonali? We would have done everything possible not to let him go. We were never totally opposed to a significant sale, but there was no necessity. For Sandro, we spent a fifth of the public domain value and had to argue heatedly with the CEO and owners. Not even the scouting area wanted him. So they didn't like Tonali. They didn't like him. How did I react to the news of his problems with betting? I experienced it as a defeat. I never noticed his discomfort. You can never do enough for the boys. You can never do enough for the boys. Purchases and sales are only a small part of the job. The real work, this is what I'm, and again, he repeats it again. The real work with Leao Hernandez, Benacer, Magnan, Kalulu, Chao, Tomori, and many others was supporting their development. That is the heart of the matter. That is why with Maldini, you know you're going to have a top G team, in the future. There's nothing that can, you just know. Because when this guy is doing that job, you literally have the best guy in the world for the best team. It's a marriage made in heaven. Nobody can teach you how to be a Milan player better than fucking Paolo Maldini. It's
Yeah.
just incredible. Okay. Like, did you have any comments or want me to go on?
I mean, it's so sad, man. Honestly, these people that fire Maldini are just nuts. They should not be in football. Should not be in football. They should not be in football. But I'm really glad that he's talking. That he's talking straight.
What do you think the response is going to be? What are you expecting?
Uh, depend how brave the journalists will be with them, because they can actually say we're not gonna talk about that, so you don't ask me question about that. Questions about that are not allowed. So when Furlani goes on an interview, this is PR team or Milan's PR team will be like, "Don't ask question about this." That's
No
what they get.
comment, essentially.
No comment, because they know they can't say anything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, let's see. Let's see. I mean, that's probably the best thing they should do. All right. So let's move on. Pioli deserves thanks. He has been fundamental for the young players. However, the coach is among the loneliest people in football. Giving him tasks beyond his role without support will only make him more isolated. Like this one here is big.
This is big. He is alone at Milanello, Pioli. He is alone. No one is helping him to motivate these players, to cheer them up, to help them in difficult moments. He's alone. There is no leadership in Milanello.
Yeah, and also the fact that now he has more power in the market.
Mm.
and he has to make big decisions. Also that, I think. The possibility of replacing him with Pirlo, my role involves frequent discussions with Pioli. We're already doing this for the following season. He had earned the renewal until 2025. And if there has been, as in the past, unity of purpose and visions with the club's objectives, I don't see why we would have needed to change. So there was this narrative that he wanted to fire Pioli and get Pirlo. But now here he's saying that is not really the case. How do you make out? How do you make this one out?
Oh, because again, every club, they have a list. They have a short list of managers in case things go bad. In case the managers, anything can happen in life, you know. So you need to be ready to have options. So as much as they don't want Pioli to leave, or for example, Man City doesn't want Guardiola to leave. If Guardiola decides to leave one day, they need to be ready. They need to have their plan B and everything ready. So I think Milan and Maldini, they had plans if Pioli would not be renewed or leave and things like that. So I believe in that because that's how it works in the world
No,
of business.
honestly, I don't think you could have said it any better. I mean, I don't think
Exactly.
you
But
have the
that
short
doesn't mean
list.
they want to get rid of him. It's just how you prepare yourself for the job. You get
Right.
ready for an option, plan B, plan C, whatever happens, you know.
Yeah. Ibrahimovic and the company, I can suggest that at the beginning would be logical to observe and learn. So he's just
Giving advice, yeah.
giving advice here. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Oh, slide 7 is big. Can you read it?
I can't see the first lines.
Okay, let me share the other.
Uh,
Uh,
um, let's see. Let me go to chat just for a little bit. I believe he's referring to Pioli's ability to keep the group together. That too, yeah, because it's correct to his point that being a sporting director is not just about buying players, but following the players. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. All right, here we go.
can you read?
Yeah. Oh, this one here is probably the toughest attack. This one
Yeah.
here kind of shocked me. Scaroni says that without me, there's a more united work group. That's if Scaroni literally said that, that's fucked up. It bothers me how things are told. Milan deserves a president who only looks out for its interests and executives who don't leave a team alone, meaning that they're always very in support of a team. He never asked if the players and the work group needed encouragement. I often saw him leave when the opponents tied or took the lead, perhaps just to avoid traffic. But he was always punctual in the front row for the Scudetto. Ooh, I have a different concept of sharing and teamwork. I can say the same about the two CEOs, Gazidis and Furlani. Bruh, this is crazy. This is crazy. And he's listen, if Maldini is telling us like these guys are just not it, like what else? What else do you need? What else do you need? Like he's literally telling you how these guys are. They don't have the mentality, right? Scaroni, they score, he loses mentality. And listen, this made me think about something. And then I want to hear what you think too, Larry, about what he said about Scaroni. But there are people that are malati di calcio, football
Yeah.
fanatics.
Yeah.
And then there are people that, they're not. The malati di calcio are going to be there even till the last moment, even if you're losing, etc., because losing is not a big deal. Like you're still going to love the game. But the guys that are not malati di calcio, when they start losing, they get demotivated.
They don't care.
They don't care anymore. And watch out, because this can happen to these guys, because these guys are not football fanatics. They are enjoying the winning, they're enjoying their spoils right now. But when things get difficult, then it's not fun anymore. It's not fun anymore. And it's only the football fanatics that have fun, even when it's not fun. But if you're not a football fanatic, you just lose motivation. Anyway, just a side note. Larry, what do you think about all this?
I always knew that, man. I mean, I always need Scaroni is just a puppet. It's just like a yes man. It just is if just talks to the press. He's a PR person. Doesn't give a shit about football Milan. Just talks for the ownership. He's a man that gives voice to the ownership. That's it. But Gazzidis and Fulani, I always knew that these are they like power, and they knew that with Maldini around, they will not have power, and they will look like idiots anyway with Maldini around, because Maldini knows football, they know nothing. And it's clear they tried everything to get rid of Maldini because they want to make the decisions. It's weird, but I don't fucking know why Furlani wants to run a football club. By the way, I understand for them is a toy, is a game, but it's a serious thing. They should not be able to run a football club.
Yeah, like I think maybe there is some psychology
Ego,
there.
there is
Ego,
ego.
and because it's a toy, because that's what it is. It really is a toy, but it's not a toy at the same time. And they just want to have fun. They're having fun, but they don't know understand what they're doing, and they it's this is a spiritual institution, man. AC Milan is not a toy. It's not a normal club. AC Milan is a gigantic club with incredible history, pedigree, and you need incredible people to respect and honor that pedigree. People that are just, that would sacrifice everything for the club. So, yeah. Anyway, let's keep on going. The new stadium, a reason for conflict. I couldn't put my face on a project for 55, 60,000 seat stadium. Almost all corporate. Damn, that sucks.
Jesus Christ, man.
That's so.
Tell that to the Curva Sud that put a banner. Finally, the ownership that we deserve. What to that motherfuckers there that put that banner? They'll be the first to get kicked out of that stadium.
Yes, that's what happened exactly to the Juventus fans.
Exactly. All corporate, all sponsors, expensive tickets. Fucking hell, man.
Crazy shit. I fought for a larger stadium with a portion of popular seats. Yeah, he knows because he knows how it is. Given the average of over 70,000 at San Siro, I was right. My idea of the stadium with a new San Siro and with more greenery, an area at risk of abandonment would be revalued. Milan is a driving force in Europe. We must fear decay. Not the future. Great champions have made the stadium iconic, but that's the past. Milan has always looked to the future. So yeah, he wants the new stadium, but he wants it for the people, not for fucking corporates. Ah, man, dude.
Awful, man. I want to cry. Actually, let's stay on this one. Let's stay on this one and not for a second. So if Jerry builds that fucking stadium, he's gonna build something like 55, 60K. And I'm not gonna be able to afford a ticket, basically.
Well, I think now they're doing it bigger. Now it's
I'm
now it's 70. I mean, that's what they first wanted, and Maldini was, because now the last things I read like was that it's 70,000, or maybe I'm wrong.
Hopefully,
Maybe,
hopefully.
guys, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I read 60,000.
No one knows because it's not. We will see the stadium when the stadium will be starting to be built and approved. The project, we will know how many seats are. But this is fucked up, man. These guys don't know what is football in Europe, man. What does it mean football for Italians? What does it mean Milan for that city? It's just crazy, man. They think they cannot fill a 70,000 seat stadium in Milan. They are crazy. They're just crazy.
Okay, let's go on.
Fucking Chelsea has a 50,000 seats. A neighborhood of London has a 50,000 seats.
I'm going to I'm going
Sorry.
to check that. Sorry, Light. Let's go forward. Ci sono 15 minuti. There's no need for algorithms to sign Loftus Cheek, Pulisic, and Chukwueze. Just use the money that a team finally billing 400 million deserves. Thank you. I mean, like you have been saying this forever. I know that
Yeah.
you say it almost every day, but to hear Maldini say it, is pretty strong. Yeah.
I love the way that he mentioned Boban every time he mentions Boban. He never digested the fact that they got rid of Boban. I love it that he always mention it.
Mm. You can compare the previous four markets with the last one. We had different tools. Sustainability with Boban and Masada was stimulating to cut wages by 30%, renew the squad, and increase its value with a Scudetto and 3 years of Champions League after 7 years without. I'm glad he reiterated the achievements
Yeah,
because for some people, like I don't understand, and I don't want to stay too long on this. They just do not want to even give, I don't know, like recognize, give credit. Everything is taken for granted. Everything is just taken for granted.
exactly. And let me add this. I want to add this for the 1,000 times. Why, Lard, you accepted Messias and Selemakers and now you don't accept Pulisic and Chukwueze? I accepted Messias and Selemakers because they were cutting wages. They didn't have budget and they had to actually fucking reanimate an entire club. So that's why they were buying Messias and Selemakers. And Messias and Selemakers fight for that club every fucking minute they were in the pitch. Now that that club has big revenues, big money, big prestige, and is back at the top, fuck off Pulisic and Chukwueze. I need more. I need serious buying, serious players. If you're not bringing serious players, leave Messias and Selemakers there. At least they fight for the club and they run, and it costs nothing. Go ahead
Yeah,
now.
absolutely. Um, okay. Yeah. The Messi idea, after leaving Barca, he was free. And according to projections on the indirect income, basically the decreto crescita, the thing that we talk about here, it would have been worth it. So he's pretty much saying that with a growth decree, there was a slight chance that it could have been done. However, Leonardo explained to us that PSG was already ahead, so it just remained an idea. That's the whole messy thing.
Cool.
My professional future, the alternatives to Milan are limited. You will never see me in another Italian team, possibly only a high level foreign one. I like to win and build. Arabia, who knows? It could be an idea. A 36-year bond is too strong and will remain forever. History cannot be erased. I thank life in Milan. Now there are people passing through without a. Oh my God. This is tough, what he's about to say here, because it's coming from him. Now there are people passing through without a real respect for the identity and history of Milan. There are people passing through but do not respect Milan. I'm sure they're going to respond to that. Or maybe not. I don't know. I see a new era represented, a Berlusconi too, a refresher on the last 40 years of Italian history, both political and entrepreneurial. I said it before my farewell. Today, you are in command, but please respect the history of Milan. Crazy light, crazy, crazy, crazy. One of the most shocking moments of the year, of the century in football for Milan fans. I think a lot of us, like, we kind of knew this was going on. We saw it. We saw behind the lines because we use logic, and and we saw it, and but to hear it from him is it's just completely different, man. It's just like, yeah, and it's
I love.
last thing, and I'll be quiet. And to me, hearing it from him pretty much tells me that the people that are running the club are incompetent, and that's the confirmation right there. And that's the last thing I've got to say about it. Go ahead.
No, I'm. I hope he still works as a sporting director. He's a really good sporting director. He will be, if he keeps working and building his relationship in the football industry, he will be at the top of that position. He will be the best of the best.
Yeah.
Uh, So he needs to. Even Saudi Arabia is fine. Is something. He will have relationship with agents, with football players, with rich owners. He will build his knowledge, work in English. All things that improves you as a professional. If he has that chance, so I'm not gonna judge for that. Uh, but the last sentence is so important that everyone needs to understand in this channel. If you're coming to this channel to listen to me and Roy, you need to understand the last sentence. They are not respecting our history. They are not respecting our name and what Milan represents. Again, 400 million revenues, and you're running Milan like it's a fucking Lecce. That makes zero sense to me. Makes zero sense to me. That's fine. They will leave one day. I'm just waiting for them to leave. That's it. Just waiting. Watching the games and waiting for them to leave. I don't give a shit what they win, whatever they achieve.
No, so yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, 100%. But here, this is so now this is not towards Paul, but is towards people that see it like Paul. I just read this, and he's trying to get a rise out of us, whatever. Milan goalposts left and right there. Too many noobs in this fan base. For the 100th time, Maldini, the player, is not the same as Maldini, the sporting director. P.S. He will improve for sure. But as a sporting director, he was fucking phenomenal. Like, I don't understand how people don't see how phenomenal he was as a sporting director. And you know what? Now that this has come out, one thing for me has completely become confirmed. The only reason why last season Maldini failed is because of what Nathan said from day one. They set him up to fail. They set him up to fail. They didn't have the guts to fire him right away, and that's what they should have done. Another sign showing their character and personality. So they just kept him, but in the same time, they jeopardized Milan. It was basically two boats rowing in different directions. So you can't even say Maldini had a bad year. Maldini was put in the condition to have a bad year. But the years where Maldini was put in the condition to work properly, his job was fucking phenomenal. How can anybody who looks at the fruit of the work, the results coming from the banter era to all the accolades that he mentioned, can say that that's an average work? No, what he did was phenomenal.
I don't deserve this, Roy. I don't fucking deserve this, man. Honestly don't deserve this.
Nobody does that. Nobody does.
No, some people deserve it. Some people deserve it because some people really deserve that. Some people deserve another 7 years of banter era just to understand again what does it mean. Because they already forgot the job that was done until now. They already
Yeah,
forgot about it.
yeah, that pisses me
They
off.
deserve another 7 years of banter era. I don't deserve that because I was really grateful. I was actually enjoying and loving the players they achieved what they achieved. Other people were ungrateful from day one, always complaining about the players, always complaining about the football, about the market, and blah blah blah. And those people deserve another say. I don't deserve that.
You're
I was
100%.
grateful to this guy that was running the club and the players that were trying to win something and achieve something in the pitch. Other people deserve 7 years, other 7 years of banter era.
But we have to suffer that though.
Yeah.
We have to suffer it because you're right. I mean, to me, the fact that people are not acknowledging Maldini for the work he did, and first of all, it's because they just don't understand the work, right? They just don't understand it. That's also not their fault that they don't understand it. They just don't get it. They think that it's a job you don't see on TV, so it doesn't really exist. It's that kind of thing. I think a lot of it is actually that is people just don't understand the impact of the people outside of the pitch. It's
Yeah.
just the people on the pitch and the coach, and then everything that happens outside of the pitch is whatever. It doesn't exist. But yeah, Maldini's work was absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, by the way, I'm not even upset with Paul because Paul at the end has always been quite balanced on his judgment. Not too crazy, It's
So all
just
right, yeah, go
anyway.
ahead. My bad.
No, so we can close it here. Just to
One
say,
sec. No, 1 second. I can actually go on a little bit longer. Maldini didn't make any mistakes, guys. Messi makes mistakes. Okay, Pelé made mistakes. Maradona made mistakes. Galliani made mistakes. Maldini made mistakes. You made mistakes. Me make mistakes. Again, are you Scaroni? When you make a mistake, you just walk up and leave because you can't because it's not fun anymore, or do you get up and try again? Mistakes is part of the process. So nobody, and this is exactly why I'm saying, like, people just don't understand that the really human experience of be engaging in that process. Yeah, mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. I mean, the thing is that some people make less mistakes than others. Messi makes less mistakes than others, exact, etc., etc. So we're going to see a lot of mistakes with these guys. Let me put it this way.
yeah. Anyway, I'll we can close the live. That was a quick one, just to say our opinion on this interview. Is a massive interview, and yeah, man. I hope Maldini goes in Saudi, makes a lot of friends, rich friends, and comes back with running Milan. Or he goes in England, Premier League, succeed, shows them what it means to run a club.
Listen, I was thinking, I was trying to envision him in Manchester United. I don't know if Manchester United. Do you think
Oh
he would
yeah.
do a good job there?
No, he's not going to Manchester because there is Americans owner there. They have the same
Ah, okay, okay, okay.
brain, all of them.
Gotcha,
They have
gotcha.
no clue. But there is a small chance that he can go Man City if Guardiola leaves, because Guardiola and his entourage will leave, so he can go
Mm.
there, or he can be Real Madrid.
Yeah,
Real
that's what
Madrid
I was saying. I was saying Real Madrid. Like I
change
see.
and Madrid as well.
Yeah,
Um, there's
I
a
was.
lot of options. Bayern Munich as well. They don't have a sporting director at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was seeing Real Madrid. Obviously, then there's the PSG thing.
Yeah,
Manchester United. I don't know if he would do well there. That yeah, and
no,
like
he's not gonna do the same mistake. Deal with
right.
owners that they count the pennies, or
I
they're not
see
gonna do
him.
that.
I see him do really well in Man City. I see him do really well in Man City and in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, he said he's not going to coach. He's not going to coach. He's not going to do any of this work in Italy, though. And
Yeah,
that's
it makes sense.
that's
It
respect.
makes sense.
Makes sense. Yeah. So he's keeping the doors open for the possibility of coming back because he wants to have a clean slate.
Yeah, and he can go even on a mid-table team outside Italy. He's not afraid of doing, that job.
Yeah, he likes to build. He likes
Yeah,
it. But I think he deserves the best. He deserves the top. You know. Um. Let's see. Oh, another thing, Larry, before we close.
yeah,
And Maldini, okay, so this Sule says we have to move on from the past, and Maldini seems to be playing a victim card now. And why now? Didn't he said he loves Milan? So is this what love in Milan looks like?
yeah. That's saying the truth. I know you, Sula, don't like what he's saying because it doesn't work with your thinking that you have built until now. So that's why you don't like it. But he said the truth, man, and he says something quite fundamental. Just take care about the history of Milan. You are now the owner. One day you will not be the owner, but you need to leave a legacy, and you need to take care about the history, respect what the club means, and they're not doing that, man. They're not doing that. Sule, I know you don't like what he's saying, but that's the truth.
Yeah, listen, I think everybody needs to be very aware here and very worried. If Maldini is coming and telling you, look, I saw these guys, I work with these guys. You and me, we're Milanisti. We know what Milan is all about. And we know what it takes to run Milan. These guys are not it. He's literally telling you as an equal Milanista. Because remember, Maldini is not Marotta, is not Galliani. Maldini is Milan. Maldini is Milan. His father was the first man to lift the Champions League trophy. But he's dynasty. We're talking about me. He's telling you as a fan, yo, the guys in charge are not going to respect the values of Milan. They're not going to do this properly. So honestly, like we should all be worried. And I think it's important for him to tell us because we care, man. We wouldn't be here if we didn't care. And and maybe it works out for the good. Maybe the management gets his act together. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, he's not. This is what love in Milan is like to me, right, Laird?
Yeah, and but I don't think he's playing the victim because at the end of the thing, I want to see all of you guys in the chat. If somebody treats you the way Maldini was treated, so he got fired for no reason and got replaced by a midget from Harvard that hasn't kicked the ball in his life. I want to see you the way you behave and how cool you will act. He's not. He has. First of all, he's saying things in a pretty. He's being direct and really, how can I say it? Yeah, direct against Scaroni, Furlani, Gazidis, and the ownership. But you don't know what he went through. Maybe he went through a lot of shit in those 4 years.
Yeah, absolutely, Laird. Absolutely. And
I
he had
understand.
to and he had to part in the shit show. I don't think so, man. By what he said here, it looks like he was again, I don't understand. Paul just doesn't Paul takes everything for granted. Paul right now is just thinking about the negative things that happened last year, which were now we have discovered were pushed by the club. And right now he's still in the honeymoon phase with Cardinale. But in 1 or 2 years, this honeymoon phase is going to be drowned out. So whatever. Some people get it 2 years before other people, and I think a lot of people they don't understand. They don't understand it. They just take everything for granted. But guys, if I get a Ferrari right now, like an F1, right, and then you put Hamilton in another F1, we both have the same car, right? But obviously Hamilton is going to beat me by far. I probably might crash the car in the first fucking curve. Do you understand what we're talking about? I don't think a lot of people understand this concept now, but they will soon. Like in time, they will.
I mean, they're saying on the comments, we are judging Maldini on the bias of the fact that he was a big player. Man, check his achievement in the 4 years when he ran Milan. Again, you guys forget what club was Milan when Maldini comes in. You guys forgot about who was playing in the defense when Maldini comes in and ran Milan. There was that Rodriguez, Musacchio, fucking I don't know who else, Zapata, and right back was Calabria that everyone wanted out. The club was finishing 6th, 7th, 8th. We were getting 5 goals from Atalanta. It was a club that was not able to finish top 4. The revenues were super low. Dude, I'm not evaluating the player. The job is done is massive, and you don't want to admit that. You still come in the comment and say, "Oh, you judge because he was a great player." No, man, he's a great sporting director. He's achieved big things with
He's a
zero
great
money.
human. He's a great human being in
Yeah,
football.
he's a great human, but they don't want to accept that. For them, he's robots. Life is robots. There is no intangible value on
It's money,
people.
man. Robots
We,
and
we
money.
Sule evaluates people like robots. Doesn't see the personality, their past, what they have achieved in their life. For Sule, that doesn't matter. I should not judge that. I should just judge the Excel sheet that Jerry Cardinali has. Yes, every time I'm gonna judge Maldini, I will understand his past as well, and that is massive. That is a plus. You cannot deny that.
Yeah, no. For me, it's sad that there's people that are more are more interested in being contrarian and instigating because that's what it is. It's really than actually like just being honest and just like, hey, look at the situation. Like really bad. But instead, people enjoy just more instigating and doing this kind of shit. Maldini didn't give a balanced account of what happened in the summer. This man went to purely out and no, but this is stuff that you're just making up.
Yes.
Like you have to show evidence because Paul, you're a guy that always says when a lot of times you say I don't believe in newspapers, blah blah, Gazzetta dello Sport, but it seems to me that you believe in newspaper when you want something to be according to whatever agenda you have. So right now, Paolo Maldini said his truth right now. Um, it is what a lot of us thought it was. So if the club comes out and shows pure evidence that what he's saying is not true, then fine. But if not, Paul is just like you are a Maldini hater. That's it.
And by the way, the logic on the chat is every fucking newspaper can talk shit about Maldini the whole summer, but Maldini has not the right to defend himself. To go on an interview and have the right to defend himself. He does not have that right. That's what they're saying. I mean, you guys, what type of people are you? I want to see how you react if they treat you the way they treated Maldini. I honestly want to see how you react.
Yeah, of
Imagine you
course.
working in a company for 30 fucking 5 years, making that company massive, gigantic, and they fire you for no reason. How the fuck you're going to behave? I honestly don't
Of
understand.
course, but
I sometimes I feel like there is teenagers on that chat that never had a life experience. And the
um,
fans as well when they're criticizing Maldini all summer. Oh, Maldini made that bad signing. Maldini signed Dest on a free. That's what they were counting the bad signings Maldini had on a free because his budget was 30 million. Fucking hell.
let's see. Roy, is the Masada part true? Because I heard Masada himself said um, that he refused to run Milan and was not fired, that he resigned. I did read that as well. Um, I did read that as well. Yeah. We
We
forget.
don't.
Go ahead.
The thing is, maybe Massara was like, if you guys fire Maldini, I'm leaving as well.
No, that's what Masada said. Masada said that he exactly that because they're firing Maldini, that he didn't want to stay. That's literally what Masada said. We forget we had Honda Consessa Mesba and the youngest players. We don't forget our captain. Yeah, for sure. Sour grapes. But I think, guys, that what you guys like, you think this is about Maldini. This is not about Maldini, guys. At the end of it, this is not about Maldini. Like people think that we're just upset because of Maldini. No, we're upset because of the future of Milan. That's why we're upset. That's really the heart of the matter. So the sour grapes is not, oh, Maldini, tribalism towards Maldini. Maldini is my guy, etc., etc. No, it's like, yo, I care for Milan. I want to see Milan succeed. And yeah, so it's not about Maldini. This is about Milan. Livian says, stop saying you guys, Laird. Maldini for me is Milan.
Yeah, I know. People need to understand when I say you guys, just trying to regroup the people that are actually against our point.
Paul says that Roy, there's no smoke without fire. Maldini didn't trust Pioli. Him trying not to admit this is hilarious. But Paul, can't you also add one and one plus one? Like Pioli went through a period was very bad for Milan. So obviously there was talk about, should we replace him or not replace him? Laird, I think nailed it right on the head. They had a short list. Yeah, the season was it was a difficult season. So of course a short list was there. Now, if they really had the intention to fire him and it was over, I think he would have said it.
Yeah, and listen, when you are working for a company. There is always someone on top of you. And that someone one day will tell you, okay, that coach is not good enough, find another one. And you need to have solutions. So, yes, that's what I say when Maldini has a short list, is because one day somebody maybe will tell you, you need to fire that person because it's not good enough, even though you believe in that person and you don't want to fire him. So he has to have options, man. It's not like every sporting directors now, even Marotta has a short list. Even Inzaghi is doing great. He has a short list because everything can happen. He needs to be ready. He needs to be ready for everything. Inzaghi can have an injury and go to the hospital for 6 months. Example. So you need a short list every time. So these are bullshit, by the way. Pioli, I like what they say that Pioli. Pioli has done a great job, and now he's alone.
Yeah, he is alone. And now, where shit is getting bad, let's see how alone he is. If I get treated like Maldini, I'm joining Alihal and Leao. People need to celebrate the fairy tale of Maldini the player, Maldini the DS. Listen, the fact that Paul does not want to give Maldini the respect he deserves for the it literally tells you just Paul, you just don't understand it. Like you just don't get it. How does someone not see the work that Maldini did? Like I don't think you have the ability to judge the work that a person in that position does. Like honestly, someone that tells me he did a bad job, it's like you don't understand the job. If you think he did a bad job,
Yeah,
I don't understand. When let's see, the fire you they fire you after you make the semifinal of the Champions League, and they think they can replicate what it took a team of legends to create. Yeah.
I mean, it is crazy how people find excuses. By the way, I was reading the other chart, Roy. The excuse was that we had a easy run to the Champions League. This season is difficult. They find excuses every year, man. They find excuses every year. Yes, let's say we had an easy run a year before, but we spent 30 million for fuck's sake on the team. This year, maybe we have a more difficult run. We spend 130 million on the team. Doesn't match, man. I don't give a shit. You guys were pretending from that team when we were spending 40 million budget. You guys were pretending for that team to go through the group and win the Serie A. Now that we spend 130 million, you're happy to see building and time. Fuck off. Are you serious now? No one gave a second Maldini to build something. Now everyone is, oh, let's wait. The team needs to gel. Fuck that. I mean, whatever.
Edison says, I think they were looking to fire him, but they had no cause. They made some stuff up just to fire him. Yes. And the most worrying thing to me about that, Edison, is that they had absolutely no problem jeopardizing the season doing that. They had no problem jeopardizing your entertainment. Right? The money that you pay to watch Milan and the time that you give to Milan, they're like, fuck it, who gives a shit about you, Edison? I don't have the guts to fire Maldini, so I'm just going to sacrifice this season.
Yeah.
And I'm going to compromise your entertainment and your happiness because you're a Milan fan.
That's a great point, Roy, because that's what I'm telling you. When they come and buy Milan, they buy a team that just won the league. So they should have spent 130 million that summer and reinforce that team. But they didn't do it because they wanted Maldini out. They didn't want to give 130 million to Maldini to spend. Because if Maldini gets 130 million, builds a fucking sick team, and they cannot fire him anymore. So they give him 35 million budget. Go and deal with that. And still it didn't fail. Because for one time that Juventus get punished, it happened on a year that helps Maldini, thank God.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
Yes.
It's like Italian football literally protected Maldini, but whatever. By the way, Juventus today had a huge win. And anyway, we'll talk about it later. All this because Maldini was fired. So what happens when and if new owners come in with less respect to history? It'll be even worse.
Yes. And by the
This,
way, what? Wait, Royce, a second.
yeah, go ahead.
A new owner comes in. Furlan is not my history, man. He's your history, probably. It's not my history. So if he gets rid of Furlani, Moncada, and all Baresi, yeah, he's the history. Baresi has no saying there. He's like an ambassador. In and out. He's not like a yeah. It's cool to have him. What history, man? The a new owner has nothing to deal with now anymore. He has to build a new history. Probably the new owner has to bring football people to keep them there. So if Zlatan gets hired from this ownership and he does well, a new owner fires him, I'm gonna be upset. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not gonna deny that.
Yeah.
But what history? What history the new owner is gonna delete, man? Tell me.
The algorithm history.
The algorithm is, yeah.
I don't care, Roy. Maldini is my guy and will always be. He made me happy as a player and got me out of the fucking bench era. Of course, with the help of others, he will always be Milan. Agreed. But Pioli said he's not alone as a response. Is he being shady? Yes, Pioli responded to that today. And it is interesting. I think he had to say it. Pioli has
Yeah,
to
of
play
course.
the cards. He has to say, no, the club is behind me. The club is always. But Maldini is not tied to the club. There's no strings attached anymore. So Maldini is just being completely honest. He says, I know how these guys operate. They don't know how to do the job properly. They don't know how to really do it. Like really, really do it.
Is it Clint that made that comment? My man, do you want Pioli to say in front of the press, oh yeah, I feel lonely in this club. No one is actually helping me out. Do you really want Pioli to say that? What do you think is going to happen the day after to Pioli?
He's be alone for real.
He's alone, but he's not going to say that. He's going to be like, no, I don't feel alone. Anyway.
Paul needs to eat Ghanaian jollof to comprehend things. That's funny. I don't think they set him up. As I said, there is three sides to a story. Maldini has his story, Cardinale has his, and then there's the truth. Oh my lord, bro! This is why we're going to have banter because of comments like this. We're going into another banter because of comments like this. Can you believe it? Like, I don't want to put Sule here on the spot, but no, there is no middle ground story. We saw this happen in real time. Anybody with eyes that can see things happen in real time saw them happen in real time. This is just a confirmation of what we are seeing. There is no Cardinale. What's the Cardinale story? What is it? What could it possibly be? We know Cardinale. Listen, Cardinale. Maybe he's going to have a. Maybe he's going. Redbird is going to become a great company, but that's his. That's what he cares about, Sully. That's what he cares about. Milan's Cardinale's Milan is Redbird. Okay, the same way Maldini, his love is Milan. Cardinale, it's Redbird. It's about Redbird for him. These are not football fanatics. Maldini is a football fanatic and he's a Milan fanatic. So it's a marriage made in heaven. But there is no other story. Maybe they can come and say, yeah, he didn't say this accurately, etc. Maybe there can be some things that can be a little bit different. But the ultimate overarching outlook on this is, the guys that took over this club are not are amateurs. They don't really know what they're doing. The first time they deal with a club of this magnitude. They got rid of Maldini in a really shady way. They literally should have just fired him. It would have been better if they would have fired him, but instead, because they were scared of the public backlash, were scared of you, they didn't fire him right away, and it jeopardized the fans. So it's like maybe these guys are going to get good. Maybe in a few years we'll get really good, but right now they are going to hurt us a lot.
The only thing I want is to finish top four. I know they're gonna use it against me. They're gonna say, "See, the ownership achieved the results. They're doing well." There, but I don't care. For me, they are not good. And if you have a budget of 130 million and you're running Milan, you can achieve top four easily.
Larry, you know just as well as me. You give that 130 million to Maldini, bro. we-
It's
We're
another
we're
beast.
we're up there. We're up there.
Yeah,
Maldini's comments are for the fans. He is telling us that, in his opinion, we are run by amateurs who know nothing about the club nor calcio. In very simple words, yes, yep. Paul, I didn't believe Maldini wanted Pioli out. Paul, you need that move. I think he did well, but he also made mistakes and should own up to it. But sorry, Sule, but who doesn't make mistakes? This idea about making mistakes is so bad, because then Galliani, before winning the Champions League in 2023, in 2003 and 2007, should have been fired many times. Like, first and again, what mistakes did he make? It seems to me like the only season that went off the rails was the season where the management had already decided to fire him and wouldn't give him any budgets. They let him operate on the market without telling him a budget. And 4 days before the market started, 4 days before he was fired, they gave him a budget. And it was a small budget. Fulani was embarrassed to give him that budget. So what did he do that was a mistake? He didn't do any mistakes. He was set up for failure. The years where he was set up to do well, he overachieved for you, for me, and for all Milan fans. And we just taken that for granted. Like, what the fuck? It's ridiculous how people try to diminish the Scudetto team rather than win the Scudetto. Like, Milan didn't throw away points last minute, like against Spezia. Uh, Jerry's an ego obsessed, narcissistic maniac. Maldini was set up to fail. Pioli is good coach and a great bottom. Parisi is a masker. I blame Pioli for all this. Parisi is there for. He should stay away. Good question. The question is, as a fan, how do you deal with this and move on? You kind of just hope for them to get good at what they do fast, because I don't think there is a solution. Or someone comes in, buys the club sooner than later.
yeah. You just hope. You just hope. First of all, it's simple. You just hope everyone around you, the other clubs, don't do extremely well, and that is Serie A. Basically, the level is quite low. At least between owners, they just are all stupid owners, most of them. So the level stays low. So if you get few things right, or if you manage one competition a season, you can achieve the bare minimum, which for me is top four. So I really want them to achieve top four. So financially, Milan doesn't collapse. Still is attractive to young talent and to players that wants to play Champions League. Still attractive for players that are at Milan to stay at Milan to play the Champions League. Plus, gives you the opportunity to stay big, so to play those games and keep a group of players at the highest level, even though I'm not a big fan of most of those players. So when the new owner comes, he has to build from uh, from something that is decent, that is good, that is it works, because Maldini took a team that was completely fucked up. I want the next owner that cares about Milan, cares about football, has ambition, respects our history and the fan base, and uh, take something that is not completely broken, so he can build something big. That's it. That's what I want. But I don't believe in these people. These people, if these people achieve top four or second place, whatever, or win the league, it's not because they are good. I still believe it's because Pioli does really well as a coach, or other people are doing really well their job, are overachieving. The
Yeah,
players are overachieving, not these people.
like I really believe that if we get kicked out of the Champions League right away, which I don't want to happen, by the way. I don't want that to happen. I want to go through to the Champions League. I want to fight for to win the Champions League every year. But if we do get kicked out of the Champions League right away, I am convinced that Pioli, with the team that he has and with his ability, with a team that does not get injured very often, can stay in that top four. I don't think he can win it at this point because right now, obviously things can change, dynamics change. I just see Inter and Juve far ahead, mentality wise, structure wise, everything wise. They're just ahead. But I think that there's a fight is brewing, which is Napoli, Roma, and Milan, and I think we can stay in this group until the end and keep the top four. Now, of course, things can change. Inter just completely crumbles, Juve crumbles, and we just surpass them if we're doing well. But right now, that's how I feel about it. So yeah, I agree that Pioli can definitely maintain the top four. Clint says Cardinale's story is Camarda's starring. All right, so Chung says, to be honest, while I'm disgusted on a personal level by their treatment of Eminem, which is Maldini Masara, which, in my opinion, show them to be dishonest people and won't make me respect them ever. The ultimate mistake that made the difference and brought us the disaster we're in now was thinking they could go on without replacing Eminem with other men of football like they were. They thought they didn't need a new sporting director. Yeah, it's all correct. And they decided to rebuild everything on a coach who had already ended his cycle, thinking it would ensure stability and continuity. Instead of getting a new young coach with ideas like Farioli or Motta or De Zerbi, who I'm convinced would have prevented a disaster like this happening in November. No, listen. Even though I would have, even though I think you cannot replace Maldini with anybody, but if you do replace him, you got to bring in fucking like top level guys. It can't be Furlan. Like all due respect for Furlan, maybe Furlan is a great guy, guys. I don't want to depict Furlan as a bad person. Maybe he is a bad person because maybe he is. I don't know. But you cannot replace Maldini with Furlani and think that you're going to be the fucking competing up there with Man City. Like it's a that's a fairy tale.
I don't know, man. People are talking about change. Dude, we know what does it mean change. And we went through that change. We went through that change. We are just telling you, let's fucking keep sport people, people that understand the club, understand the culture, understand the fan base, understand the history, what it means to be Milan, what it means to play a semi-final of Champions League. We're not gonna fucking put baseball people to run a football club, man. As much as you think change is inevitable. That is bullshit, man. Go and give Maldini an NBA club. What the fuck you think he's gonna do? He's gonna fail. That's bullshit what people think. Oh, change. No, man. Stop it right there. A guy that has a degree from Harvard cannot run a football club, man. Stop it right there. It's a fact.
So yeah, Sulis says a lot of you're speaking out of sentiments, man. Change is inevitable and inevitable, and I will
What
always
about Chelsea? What about Chelsea? I have zero attachment for Chelsea. Zero. I don't give a shit. They are running it the way Cardinale is running Milan. He's putting people that they have no clue about football. Their owner is doing the sporting director. He's buying 45 players, all youth and resellable athlete that you can make a value. He's running the club. He's a fucking corporate America. What about Chelsea? Do I have any sentimental attachment for Chelsea? Manchester United, the way I'm running Manchester United. What about them? Do I fucking care about Manchester United? Explain me these examples there. Dude, it's not about sentimental here. These idiots cannot run a football club. They need people like Maldini. And forget about Maldini. When I say Maldini, I say people like Guardiola, sporting direct, people that have been in football for their entire life, since the age of 8 until the age of 55. They've seen the change of football, the evolution of football, the evolution of the business of football, the fan base, the competition, the rules, the referees, the tactics, the coaches. You need these people. How the fuck are you gonna run football like this?
I don't know, man. I don't understand how it's so difficult to understand. I really don't get it. So Sully says a lot of you are speaking out of sentiments. Changes in inevitable and rules have meant love from Maldini, but his timing shows me why. Clint says, if I'm Maldini, I go to Camel League. Oh, okay. Do a great job and convince him to buy Milan. That would be a great power play. I mean, why not? Why not? I'm not opposed to that. Maldini will join Saudi and recruit Ahmed Salamakers. Okay, Maradona as a player, brilliant as a coach. What say you? I can't compare the two. Can you? Man, if you cannot see the job that Maldini did, then to me, I question whether you have the ability to really judge what a person in his position is supposed to do at a club and
I
what
think
kind of.
this guy started watching football yesterday. I don't know, man. The way he speaks, literally started watching football yesterday.
But maybe he doesn't know. He just doesn't know. You know, it's not that he's being unfair. It's just that he doesn't know.
Oh, but somebody that watches football let's say I'm 35 and I've been watching football since the age of 6, 5. I understand these basic concepts, and I see that teams fail when they don't have the right football people in their club. They fail. It's proven.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, and also like results, Hello,
Yeah, it's a
like
league title. Have you seen that? You were there, man. You saw it. A league title.
I just think that a lot of people just take it all for granted. They don't understand the nuance of all of this. And I think another thing, Laird, which is, I don't know if I'm not necessarily saying Sully or other people, that there's a certain standard to Milan, and there's a lot of fans that don't either respect that standard or not understand that standard, right? Like they don't understand the difference between Udinese and Milan. It's the same. It's the same thing. Because Cardinale can go and do Udinese, man. And as like Cardinale can definitely do what he's doing with a club that does not give a shit about winning anything. As long as you finish between 16th spot and 6th spot, you're all good. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. Maybe that, but Milan, teams like Milan, Real Madrid, Inter, Juve, these big clubs, Barcelona, brah, it's way deeper than that. It is way deeper than that. Americans.
Like,
Go ahead.
yeah, go for it. Go.
No. I was just reading a comment. Go ahead.
No, people are criticizing, for example, the Brazilian Federation for us getting Ancelotti as a coach. No.
I am criticizing him.
Yeah. So because they say we have a massive history, we have massive football, so we should get a coach from our country. We should not get someone. But on the other side, if the Brazilian Federation is making a mistake, he's making the best mistake they can make because they are hiring the best person in that position.
Yeah.
So
I
if
agree.
hiring Maldini is a mistake, but that mistake means that you are hiring one of the best football people.
You hire Marotta.
Even we can have a conversation right there. You can tell me I'm emotional. You can bullshit me with those few words that you've seen. I don't know where. You can say those things to me. Fucking Furlani, man. Are you serious? Have you ever met people like Furlani in your life? Have you ever had the chance to meet people like Furlani? Man, they cannot run a football club. They cannot go inside of a dressing room. They cannot do that. They cannot do that.
But let's give them credit. These are important people for society, right? Like they help other people manage their finances.
Run a bank. Go and run a bank, man.
Run, yeah, run a bank. Don't run Milan. Go run a bank. I'm sure you're great at what you do. Like, I know for a fact these guys are great at what they do. They're masters. They've studied at Harvard. They probably did it with all the best. They know exactly how to make money out of the market and run companies, etc. But a football sporting team, get out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of
Fucking Gazzidis on that interview was getting all the credits. I did that. I did that. Dude, you wanted to fire Pioli, Maldini, and Boban. All of three, you wanted to fire them. And hire Ragnick and God knows who else. Fuck me. And now they take credit and say, oh, we kept Maldini, we did that, we did that. Fuck you. You did nothing. I know.
Yeah.
But
All right, listen, Larry. Let's just finish it off with the game tomorrow. I'm doing a watch along, so join if you can.
what time is the game?
It
It's
is
late?
The late game. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm gonna watch the game tomorrow. Probably. Let's see. If I'm home, if I'm not doing anything, I'll watch it.
All right. Well, yeah, join if you can.
Yeah.
But we are playing against Frosinone. The lineups are crazy, right? We know what the situation is.
What is the lineup for Milan?
So the defense is going to be. Let me get it on the Gazette.
What is that real? The Americans bought Lyon and now they are last in the league. Ah, that cannot be real, man.
Is Lyon last?
Talking about history, another big, massive French club.
So wasn't Maldini told to sell some players to make collateral? I don't know. I don't know.
I hope one day. I hope one day I will get to know Maldini and ask all the questions. And I really want to know what really was going on in those 4 years he was at Milan.
Okay, so let's look at this logically. Let's think of this logically. Maldini is asked to sell for collateral, but Maldini was, doing a project. Like, who are you going to sell? You're going to sell Hernandez. You're going to sell Leao. You're going to sell these players here. Those are the easiest players to sell. Maybe he just didn't want to sell those players. I don't know. But listen, again, the notion that you're assuming or anybody's assuming that we think Maldini was perfect, that's come on. Let's stick to reality. Obviously, everybody makes mistakes, guys. Yeah, I'm sure Maldini makes mistakes. Who doesn't make mistakes? I mean, Maldini made 3 mistakes, Larry. 3 huge mistakes. In 8 Champions Leagues finals, he only won 5. The other 3 were mistakes.
Can we count how many mistakes Jerry Cardinali did? Are we going to count how many mistakes Jerry Cardinali did? Or we're not counting that? Or actually, let's make it easy. What Jerry Cardinali did right since he came at Milan?
Yeah.
Just tell me a list of things that Jerry Cardinali did right the moment he bought Milan. The day Milan was celebrating the Scudetto, Jerry Cardinali was announced a few weeks later as a new owner. Redbird buys Milan. What he did right? Can somebody illuminate me? The man has been running the club for 2 years. What is done right? Is he build a stadium? No. Is he winning any trophy? No. Raise the revenues? No. They are the same. He didn't raise the revenues. Did he spend money on the market for big players that we are actually winning games? No. We are 4th, 5th now. What is done good? Did he solve the issue of the injuries? No. Did he brought a new coach, a good coach, a massive coach? No. Did he brought big football names? No. Can somebody tell me what is done right, Jerry Cardinali? Because everyone is finding the mistakes Maldini has done in the 4 years. No one is telling me what Jerry Cardinali has done right.
Yeah, and I think now just talking like a strategy game, the people that are pushing this narrative about mistakes, you're making a huge mistake because in a few years, man, the mistakes that you're going to see that these guys do is going to be insane. So it's just going to you're just kind of shooting yourself on the foot. If you think that he should have been fired because of his mistakes, then you'll have to think that everybody has to get fired every time they make a mistake. And sooner or later, the guys pushing the mistake narrative, it's going to crumble on them. All right, probable Milan 11 for tomorrow. So we have Manyan Calabria, Simic, Tomori, Teo Hernandez. So Simic is going to be playing for Chao. And I think he's the only defender that we have available. Then aside Bartesaghi and Florenzi on the bench. So really short bench. In midfield, it's going to be Loftus-Cheek, Rangers, Musa. And up top, Jokovic, Chukwueze, Jovic, Pulisic. So literally all the signings of the summer are playing tomorrow against Frosinone at the San Siro. So here's a good opportunity for them to showcase their signings. Tomorrow is a good opportunity for them to showcase their signings because it's all the fucking summer signings playing tomorrow, minus Okafor. Okafor is still injured. The bench is going to be Krunic, Florenzi, Bartesaghi, Krunic, Pobega, Ali, Chaka, Torre, Romero, Jovic, Camarda. So we might see Camarda tomorrow. And Romero is on the bench as well.
And we have Newcastle after, yeah?
I don't know, actually. I think Newcastle is in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
the week after. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
So it's in on paper, we should be winning this game. But now the issue is this, like that now it's not like in the first quarter of the season where the teams are finding their feet. They're trying to figure out that now all the teams are going and they found a rhythm and they want to keep their spot in the table or want to improve it. So now the competition is getting harder. So it's not like Frosinone is not going to be a pushover. No teams are going to be pushovers anymore. So Milan really has to be careful tomorrow. And if they go in complacent tomorrow thinking it's Frosinone, it's going to look bad. Look really bad.
Yeah, no, they're not going to be complacent. It's going to be an ugly football. And Frosinone will come at us because they will be like, okay, they are in trouble. If we hold for 40, 45, 50 minutes, their bench players are not good enough. So we can actually exploit them. So, listen. Honestly, Roy, I don't want Inter to win the second star because at the moment, going back to the mistakes Jerry Cardinali has done, we lost 5-0 against Inter.
Yeah.
That's historical.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about mistakes.
Yeah, that is historical. And if Inter wins the second star, that's another mistake of Jerry Cardinali. That is his mistake. I'm counting Jerry Cardinali's mistake. If somebody on the other side can count what he's done well, will help me to balance the things. But I think we had another record that we didn't score for like 100 years, that we haven't scored for 4 games in a row, something like that.
Oh yeah, in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a negative. He has a negative record. No, listen, Laird, there's going to be a million mistakes by the end of the year. Next year, there's going to be so many mistakes that I'm telling you, this narrative of the mistakes is such a bad strategic narrative to try and get a got you. It's basically you're just leaving landmines for yourself. Like, think about yourself. When you want to debate someone, also think about the landmines that you're leaving for yourself. This mistakes narrative is you're just leaving big landmines. So I don't think it's a good strategy to go on
Yeah,
with it.
people. I love how people say Maldini makes mistake. Look at CDK. No one is counting that our best player was brought by Maldini, Leao.
Yep.
You cannot evaluate the mistake of CDK at the same level of the success of Leao. That cannot be weighting the same.
Yeah, it's a really bad narrative. It's a bad narrative. Um, uh, so there's a question here. Okay. We're just going to look at these games, but there's a question here. What was your position on Maldini when he first took reign? Were you all full supportive of his hiring, and if so, why? So he had no prior experience. Okay, my
Well,
man.
again, my man, again, that team was finishing 11th in the league.
But yeah,
Oh
okay.
my god! Oh my god! Why people don't put context to when these things happen in the history of Milan? Jesus fucking Christ! Jerry Cardinali buys a team that won the league. Maldini gets the job when Milan is 11th in the league.
Yeah, but aside the context thing, I think the part here that kind of takes surprises me is when you say he had no prior experience. I mean, you're talking about one of the most unique footballers of all time. This guy had played all his career at the highest levels. He was the captain of captains. This guy is literally honest. Look, Sule, 99% of footballers wish that they could finish their career having done only a fifth of what Maldini has achieved. They'd be happy with just a fifth of what he has achieved. That's 99% of football players. We're talking about such a unique player. But again, is like this is a football man, a Milan man. But once he ended his career, he said what he wanted to do. The opportunity came. He took it the right way. He didn't come in and pretended he was the shit like these guys are doing right now. No, he came in humble. He said he's going to learn. He did that apprenticeship under Leonardo. Then when the time was right, he stepped up, and in that development process, he achieved every single objective that was put in front of him. And he overachieved. I wouldn't say he overachieved. He did what Maldini knows how to do: win trophies. And he won us a Scudetto. He got us back in the semifinal after so long. That prior experience is everything, my man. It is everything.
It's
What
just
it
crazy, and how people, the logic is just nuts to me. A guy that has been 25 years in football, you're saying he has zero experience. I mean, what the fuck, man? Do you actually know what is the job of a sporting director? A job of a sporting director is to talk with football players. How can you say that a guy that's been 25 years as a football player doesn't have experience how to talk to a football player? Recognize if a football player can be good. Recognize the mentality of a football player. This is the job of a sporting director. Call a football player and convince him to come at Milan. Do you think Maldini does not have the experience to do that after playing 25 years with the best football players in the world? This is shocking to me, man. But Furlani has the experience because he has a degree in Harvard, so he has experience. The guy knows how to use a spreadsheet, so he has experience. Maldini has zero experience after 25 years in the dressing room of one of the biggest clubs in the planet. This is nuts, man.
Yeah, and let's add the fact like he didn't come in saying, "Okay, give me the keys. I'm the boss." He didn't do what these guys did. These guys came in. I got this thing. I got it from a movie where this bottom league team. We got it from 16th to 12th. What a success, you know. And that's what I'm going to bring into Milan. It's going to be amazing. That's literally what Cardinale did. Maldini came in humble, knowing his position, took the apprenticeship. He literally said in his interview years that he felt useless in the beginning. And yeah, come on, man. I think you cannot argue Maldini's work. Anyway, starting by getting Zlatan in. If a situation between Pioli and the players is irreparable, get a normalizing coach like Mazzarri to wait until the summer when you can get one of the three names I mentioned above. Okay, yeah. And by that time, we might not even need a new sporting director. A young, intelligent, charismatic coach with fresh ideas is Zlatan will ensure part of that hole left by Eminem will be filled. Hopefully, they'll persuade Theo Leao Manyan to stay for another year. If they can't, and they're sold, fans will probably still accept it because the prospect of a strong transfer market is too exciting. And then they either need to win or at least get extremely close to it because there won't be any excuses by then. No more Maldini or Pioli to blame. The king will be naked. So while I'm disgusted by them and won't ever respect them, and they've only proven to be undeserving of our trust and money until now, they can still turn it around.
No. Turn around what, man? Turn around. What is that? Turn around is relative. The talk this summer was that we're gonna fuck everyone with this team. That was the talk. That this team is amazing. That actually these guys are cooking, and now they're gonna turn around and they're gonna finish fourth. And at the end of the summer, at the end of the season, people will say, "Oh, this was a success." No. That's not turning around, man. They're not gonna turn around. It's not gonna be like, "Oh, next summer they spend 130 million and maybe they compete." No, spending 260 million to compete against Inter that is selling every fucking summer a major player and getting free agents. That's not fucking turning around. That's looking like an idiot. So I don't give a shit what people think turning around. No, that's not turning around. That is looking like an idiot because Inter sold Onana for 50 million. Inter basically invested 40 million this summer. So you competing against Inter in 12 months for the next season after you spend 200 million, that is not turning around. That is you being an idiot.
Benacer is not on the bench. He's not ready yet. He's not ready yet. Now listen, I'm not saying Sule is slow or anything. I'm not saying that. I just think that maybe there's just information that needs to be understood. That's it. Is Benacer on the bench? Well, listen, I understand what Chunk is saying. He's trying to have hope, essentially, right? He's trying to see if there's a light at the end of a tunnel, essentially. But yeah. I think it's a very upsetting situation, right? It's a very upsetting situation. It's disappointing. We as fans just have to live with it. We just have to accept it. And we can't really, I mean, is there anything we can do? I don't think there's really anything we can do about it. But at least be honest about it, I guess.
To be honest, there's a lot of injuries as well. So, but I guess karma is a bitch. So,
yeah. Okay. So last thing, and then that's it. I had a thing there, but it got moved an hour. So now it's about to come up.
that's cool, man. I'm so upset, man. I can keep ranting for hours, so I don't want. I just want. Yeah, at one point, somebody needs to stop me and close this live. That's the whole thing. And yeah, karma is a bitch, man. Karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. No one gave credit to Maldini when I was telling this team was doing bad because Mike Maignan got injured for 7 months, which is a key player. Now karma is coming at these same people, fucking doing a disaster with injuries. So now they need to find the same excuse and use it against me. That's the thing.
We'll do the open tomorrow, Nathan. After the game, well, the game, I'll invite you, but we'll do the open tomorrow. Because actually today was supposed to be short. It was supposed to only be an hour.
That
But
you know what? Put Nathan in. I'll close the live, bro. If you
okay,
need,
perfect. Yeah.
let me put Nathan. Do you want to talk? If you want to run for 10, 15 minutes, but I need to close it in 10, 15 minutes, Nathan. So if you want to join, if anyone wants to join and rant a bit for 5 minutes, say their opinion about this situation.
So before I go, just go over the results. So Monza Juventus today, guys. Juventus was winning 1-0. Then Monza scored in stoppage time. Monza scored in stoppage time. Then Juventus scored again in stoppage time. That's they got everything is going their way right now. That's usually a sign. That's usually a sign. You know. Then the other game, Napoli Inter, big game, big game. Napoli Inter is going to be very decisive for us as well. Napoli after Inter has Juventus, so Napoli could either get a lot of points and fight and be a top two, or lose a lot of points. I don't know. We'll find out. But Milan tomorrow must win. If we don't win this game, trouble. All right, Lars, before I go, last words.
Last word, is Nathan joining, or because I need to close if it's the last word? If Nathan is not joining, last word, Forza Milan. Everything will be fixed. I'm with you, Chunk. Yeah, everything will be fixed. Hopefully sooner than later.
Clint wants to come in. Let's give him.
Let me put should I put the link on the chat?
Yeah, put it on the chat.
I'll put it on the chat directly. Come on, Clint, quick one. I'm running out of battery, so I have 10%.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, tomorrow, for sure after the game open, like we'll get whoever wants to join us for the game can join us in the watch along. But after the game, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people that want to discuss this situation.
Yeah.
All right, Lance. Great talking to you, guys. Everybody, thank you. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. Forza Milan.
So let's see if Clint wants to join. If not, I'm gonna close the live anyway. Maybe he's preparing the mic, but yeah. Let's see what's gonna happen now. If they will reply to Maldini's interview or just let it go. I think they will let it go. They don't want confrontation. It's not good. Or they will talk if Milan starts winning again. They will talk and say things. But Clint is joining. It's a bit like Clint, your device is not connecting properly. I don't know what's happening here. I don't know if Nathan is joining as well. Oh, Nathan is joining. Hi, Nate. Can you hear me? I cannot hear you, by the way, if you're talking or saying anything.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
How's it going?
I mean, it's going. You saw the interview. I mean, you read part of the interview or whatever was there, out there.
Yeah, this is if there's one thing that people need to understand, no matter if you're a fan or an owner or whatever, the first thing you have to do is respect Milan's history and values. You can't trample over that and think that you're going to be successful.
Mm.
Like the disrespect shown has just been really disgusting. And I mean, we've been saying it for a long time, we knew what was happening. It still doesn't change our situation, but at least we have confirmation of what we already knew was going on.
Yeah, it was important to know, to get a sense, because we felt that something's not right. Of course, we felt that, but now we know the details and how things happen and who is who, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not sure where everybody lives, you know, in the group chat, or not just the group chat, but the chat on the live or whatnot. But for those of us who live in the United States, we understand how American owners are.
Yeah,
And this was I saw this, you know, from day one. And it's just that's how American business operates.
yeah, you're right, man. You're right. And I didn't want to believe you. It was more like a choice not believing you, because there is a reputation American corporates have. They are ruthless. They
Yeah.
want you out. They will find an excuse and just take you out. So
Hey,
Yeah.
I didn't want to
hey,
believe you. When it happened, it was like, oh shit, it's actually true now.
yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
can you guys hear me well?
Yeah, yeah,
Or it's
you
like,
can
Yeah.
hear you.
yeah. Hey, guys. Hey, hi, man. Hey, like, I agree with you. I know I was trolling, but I agree with y'all completely. I think we're on the same page at the beginning. We've been on the same page. It's just after a while, I moved on because that was just our reality. I'm like, okay, they're in charge now. I gotta look past that. But if you pay attention, I wasn't too much on the way Tonali's cooking. I never said that. I never really was behind it, but I did appreciate some of the players they brought. I was just adjusting my expectation, if it makes sense. Now, the Maldini thing, I think it comes back to, it opens a wound that I just didn't want to think about. And y'all know how I feel about Maldini, this whole thing. And I don't think I did. It was really wishy-washy. And you guys are right, man. When it's as humans, when it's wrong, it's wrong. You gotta call it a spade a spade. I mean, the whole Lyon thing, like, I'm not lying, bro. The Americans bought Lyon. Pulisic was supposed to go to Lyon after Chelsea because the Americans were there. They got them in the summer when Ola
I remember
Celtic,
that, Clint.
right? And right now, Lyon is 5 points. They're last, and they're 5 points away to even get out the relegation. Most unlikely, they're gonna get relegated, bro. The only one, and Americans are running it right now. So, and you see Chelsea. So those are prime examples. And I think with what's going on with the crisis and all that stuff, I think they are in for a rude awakening. I don't see. It's true I want Pioli out, but with what Maldini is saying, it reinforced, because a lot of stuff we were saying was speculation. The guy came out now. We have confirmation, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't. I don't like it. I don't like
So
this.
it scares me because it's my club, man. If they can treat Maldini like this, what they can do to other people.
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
And I think it's the instability, because let's even take Man U for example, right? The whole Man U thing, they're losing the plot. They wasted, because even let's say even if Jerry goes and buy the players, is it going to be, because I take an example, we can be on a scale of a Man United, have all the funds, and then you're buying players like the Anthony, you bring in thing like people probably are not right for the job, which is also Chelsea is doing. I mean, how much money has Chelsea spent?
yeah, the environment is not right. So
The
that's why
environment
there's
and, it,
no.
and that environment piece, I think, is what scares me. I think that's the biggest hiccup that I'll pick, because now it's really scary. It's
And
so scary, man. It's scary.
Clint, imagine if Chelsea, whose biggest legends are what Drogba, Lampard, like imagine if these guys are in the position that Maldini was in,
I mean,
and
it happened
then
to no, it happened to Sech, bro. Sech got fired. Sech is a Chelsea legend. Sech is
Yeah,
responsible for that Chelsea being successful. He got the boot. He got the boot when Todd Bowley got there. All the Chelsea guys that were up there, the John Terry, all these guys had to leave. Sech is playing fucking hockey, bro. He was the sporting director of Chelsea. He's responsible. That Champions League and all that is all Sech. The way they acquire these players, they kept Chelsea relevant. Abramovich, it was a winning formula, bro. They're gone. That's the
well,
reality.
Well, we know Abramovich. I mean, he understood because he's a football person. These
He's a
Americans that come
fanatic.
in,
He
yeah,
wants to win.
it's
He's obsessed with football and winning. Yeah.
right, and don't get me wrong, Americans are also very obsessed with winning in sports, but the owner has to be obsessed with with sports in general.
With
So, like,
football,
if let's
especially.
say, or not, this doesn't even have to come down to football. They need to be obsessed with the sporting aspect as a whole. Like, if we were bought by, let's say, the Yankees owner, or if we were bought by um, the Patriots owner, those guys are fanatics of the sport itself, so they would understand
The
what it means. But these guys, what they took Toulouse, bro. We
yeah,
are not Toulouse, bro. Like,
no, and the problem, Nate, the problem is this: they're trying to turn the structure, and I know I was right. Jerry could not buy a franchise team in the United States, which is your guaranteed revenue. What the Beckham and all these guys
uh-huh.
did, your guaranteed revenue. You cannot adopt that model in Europe, which essentially they want to do, because in Europe it's a pyramid, and that's, you're gonna find a hard way. Meaning you're gonna lose. Forget the relegation, not thing. In terms of revenue, you're going to lose money. Now, how do you want to compensate with that, with the stadium and all of that? You need something to show for in terms of product. And I, like I told you, I ran through all the different conferences, the little therapy sessions they had in conferences, the toy bully, the cardinale when they were speaking. I know exactly what their vision is, but boy, they're going to learn the hard way, and I know they're going to have to sell. The reputation is going to get tarnished because unless, if they want to do like the muscle, which how like the owners of Man United are doing, we're like, nope, we're not letting go of the club, because at the end of the day, we're so in love with Milan that we just can't let it go. It's hard for it to be like, I'm not watching their games anymore. It's going to be so hard when some of us been watching Milan over 2 decades, 3 decades for some, 4 decades for some. It's going to be really tough. And I think that's what they're leveraging. But to what extent? Because even companies like Disney here in the United States, Disney had the monopoly in terms of entertainment. They lost $1 billion this year, and their fucking empire is crumbling. And Jerry Cardinale is playing a dangerous game. This needs to be solved. I want to see what we're going to do in the summer. That's all I'm going to leave it at.
No, whatever we do in the summer is not going to be enough, because I really believe the only
Well,
American,
we have
the
to
only one of
sell.
the few American owners that is succeeding is Arsenal, because they have football people that are running the club. Edu,
But it
Matteo.
took them, yeah, but it took them how long, like? It took
Yes,
them
I
how
know.
long?
It took them a long time to understand that. So I don't want us to take so long, but unfortunately, we're going into a recession. I see it really hard for Jerry to sell in this recession. We're gonna suffer a lot, man. I will be 50 years old, probably 45 years old, to see again a proper owner in Milan doing Milan.
Yeah, I agree. And you guys remember, they gave their interview on how the team is going to be done. They said that the revenues and transfers are all correlated with the sporting aspect of the game, like how we actually perform. But you can't perform if you're not actually backing up the people who are playing the players, who are buying the players. So what they're doing is clever, because Milan will still turn over a profit because they don't spend that much money. We might not make Champions League, but I promise we'll still turn over a profit, guaranteed. And that's what these guys care about, is will we be in the green? They don't care if we win. Will we be in the green? That's what they care about.
No, and
And
and, and of course, right? And
go
of
ahead, go ahead.
course, not going to back to soccer economic, like I said,
No,
you have to be, like I said, to be able to even forget break even, to be able to as an owner, you want to be mid table, because that's where you get all your money when your wages are low. But for an historic club like Milan, the glory on the pitch, you have to sacrifice. That's what Man City did. You need an infinite amount of money. And what Inter, essentially, as much as I hate Inter, they understood that formula. Fuck going broke. Let's live in the present. Let's run this up. Because essentially the product itself is going to gain in value.
Inter,
You
sorry,
understand?
but Inter is operating with less money than us, man. Inter
That's what
didn't
I'm
spend
saying.
130
No, no,
million,
yeah,
and it's
no,
still
no,
doing
no, no.
better.
Yeah,
So that
right.
that
And
means
that's
that
what I'm
is
saying.
about No, that means that it's about the football people, and it's not about let's run this thing proper. They're running it at low budget, man, and they're winning. They're building proper team. My problem with Jerry Cardinale? I'm not asking Jerry. I'm not complaining with Jerry Cardinale that he's spending money. He's spending money. He's giving the money to the wrong people to spend those money. That's my problem with Jerry Cardinale. If you give 130 million to Maldini, now you fucking are. You have a beast of a team. You have a serious team built properly. That's my problem with Jerry Cardinale. I want to correct Nathan here. If you don't finish top 4 in Italy, you don't go on a green. You will lose money in Italy. If you need to finish top 4 in Italy, or you're gonna lose money. He's not gonna get any profit if he doesn't finish top 4.
No,
So
but
for us,
what we're saying is that you don't have to worry about the wages and stuff. Like if you let's say you want to continue to finish top 4, we are gonna have to continuously raise the players' salaries over and over and over again. Whereas
no,
if you are not, yes, Larry, I promise, if you do not make
no.
the top
What I'm
4,
saying is that the 1 year he doesn't finish top 4, he loses a lot of money, money.
well, yeah, of course. It'll have
And
to
players
stabilize
leave,
out over
players
the
goes.
years.
He has
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sell them, and you go and you buy average players, and you finish maybe 5th again. You're out. You need to sell with a loss.
And you
So it's
shouldn't, and you shouldn't. I agree here because you should not be, because if top 4 is your bar, right? If top 4 is your bar, there's circumstances that happen. It's like somebody that wants to just save the exact money. You need to be, your bar should be like, you know what, Scudetto, deep run in the Champions League. So when top 4 should be that cushion, but if top 4 is your summit, dude, when those players renewals come around, each individual you're going to be bringing in to fall into that line, it might take them a year to adjust. I.e., this is a proper example. You might not see top 4 this year, because if top 4 should not be right away. You're playing a dangerous game. You're right. It should be higher than that. But when it's higher, then when you turn top 4, you're still within your budget limit or your cushion. You can still anticipate on your revenue. But if it's already top 4, you're not guaranteed to hit top 4 every year. I'm sorry, you're not.
One summer they invest 40 million when they wanted Maldini fired. They almost didn't achieve.
We finished 5th.
Yeah. So if they do it again, if they fuck up with their job, they will lose a lot of money. And I'm so tempted for them to lose money just to see them cry. But I love Milan, so I don't want that to happen.
And there, like you said, when Milan won the Scudetto, we spent what, 70, 75 million that year?
80 million, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, like 75, 80 million. This year we spent 130. There's no excuse. I'm not giving nobody an excuse.
Exactly.
I don't care.
No fucking excuse. I don't give a shit. Pioli that, this guy that, injuries that. No.
Because we have more players. We have more players this year than the previous 2 years. We have more players. We literally sold 1 and brought in 10. We have more players. I don't want to hear the excuse. We spent 130 million. We should be first place. I don't want to hear anything else other than that.
And I'll tell you what, we're going to go out of the Champions League. I know that. I love Milan to go through, but I'm being realistic here. We're going out to the Champions League. So it's the same scenario of the year we won the Serie A. We go out of the Champions League in December. We focus on the league, and we go and win it. There is no fucking excuses, man. If they go out of the Champions League, they need to win the league. They need to stop Inter to get in the second star and go and win the league. And that is not a success to me. That is achieving the same level that Maldini achieved the summer they gave him 80 million to spend. So they have to. If they don't achieve that, I don't want to hear excuses. People need to go, need to get fired. I want to hear the same talks people are having for Maldini. I don't give a shit.
Because I saw that interview now. Like, I'm looking at Fulani different. Like I said, there's some insight I didn't have. I don't want to pronounce myself. But if it's true, the way the Fulani, Fulani, you come on TV and you say for a fact that you're a lover of the club, and I'm like, oh, this is good, at least. And I was a bit gullible. I'm like, okay, this dude has love for the club, but if you're gonna treat Maldini not respond to his text, you're a coward, bro. But that's how CEOs behave, right? I'm in corporate America. That's how CEOs they behave. They're not confrontational. You dodge. You don't want to have these real conversations. What is your plan? You understand?
Clint,
Like it's man, this shit's garbage, bro.
Maldini typed up a 32-page sustainability report, and they didn't even reply. Like, bro, that is the height of a disgusting, disgusting person.
They took that report and probably they are using it now. Just they don't have the know-how how to use it. Probably
Yeah.
Maldini probably in that report say, if you give me 130 million, I can build a team to try and win the Champions League. They told Maldini, you're fired. Thank you for the report.
But like I said, you just saw they took. I mean, I look at the Chelsea is the proper example of it creates a mess because you're so geeked, you're so focused on the computer, on your numbers, but boy, that does not relate to human relationship, especially as something as football that's really fickle. Because a moment a layout goes down, I mean, this is a perfect example. The algorithm doesn't look for these injuries now that come out of nowhere. You don't have a contingency plan. Now here you are. You're going to be out of the Champions League, and you didn't foresee all of that. You've made your little numbers thinking like, okay, this is automatic. You're not playing career mode of FIFA where you just program these guys.
You can restart after every game.
You get a restart every game. Then you go down and you cook. You go ask Todd Boyle right now. He's looking back like he's looking goofy. You don't know what to do because you spent over how many billion. You did not bring the wrong profiles.
Right? He's making look good coaches because as much as I'm not a big fan of Pochettino, he is a good coach. He can achieve big things with a proper team. He's making look good coaches like idiots. They don't know what to do with all those players. They don't know how to unlock.
I mean,
the environment is not right.
Yeah,
because
and
the players are fine.
Yeah, and I look at Lyon. They came to Lyon. Lyon's on how many coaches now? Within less than December, I think 3 or 4.
Wow.
Grosso got fired. Grosso got fired what? This week? Grosso got fired. He was there for 7 games. And they think he's the problem. And I'm like, that's not solving. These guys came in, they have no idea what they're doing. No idea what they're doing.
Yeah.
And this is going to show you the example over and over and over and over. And it's you need the reason why teams like Man City are successful. Why is Man City successful? Man City inherited, they went and got the whole Barcelona crew over there.
Yes. Everyone that was running Barcelona, they went
to Man City.
They bought knowledge, man. You don't fire knowledge. You buy more knowledge. You don't fire Maldini. You add another guy like Maldini, close to Maldini.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
100%.
We needed the energy. Like I said, for me, I moved on personally, like I say again, because it was like the damage is done. Let me look at this, Milan. Let me give people hope. But then an interview like that comes back. I think it opens a wound for me where like I have to look at you sideways. Fulani, if you really did that to Maldini, that you don't even want to look and you want to disrespect, then boy, you better get your point across by getting something substantial to the fans. It needs to happen. Because if that doesn't happen, you're in for a good shit show. Because Curva is going to play your game. It's not going to play your game for too long. They're going to turn on you.
I disagree with that. The Curva are a bunch of morons.
No, you say that.
I think they are paid. I think they are paid.
No, they will. I'm with Clint. They're idiots. They don't have football knowledge. They just go for the hype, you know. But I agree with Clint. At one point, it will be like, "Fuck it, you guys are messing it up."
You guys are bad because it's the same Curva. They're gonna turn on you because after a while, if you're getting bad results, I mean, how are you gonna hype up if you're not getting transferred? Because I guarantee you, Mike is gonna be sold. If we do not make top 4 or we lose that money, Mike is going. Especially with the injury stuff, I think they're going to sell him. They're going to be like, you know what, Sportiello
he hasn't renewed yet either.
Yeah, no, he hasn't. And I don't think he is. Me personally, I feel like Mike is going to be, it's the more safe bet to sell. Because, you know, goalkeeper sometimes is a luxury. But I think that's what they're going to do. They're going to look at his age. It doesn't fit their profile. Work somebody young. Sportiello can do the job. That's how they're going to look at it. I guarantee you that. And
they will buy a 15, 20 million goalkeeper. They will find a 15, 20 million goalkeeper.
From where?
There is, man, a lot of 20 million goalkeepers out there. There is. Don't worry, man. They will find one. The thing is, and they will sell Mike for 100 million, and they will buy other players with that money, and still build a Frankenstein of a club.
And the cherry on the cake is gonna be Jesse Marsh. Watch. He comes in just to come and just kill us now. Jesse Marsh is gonna be brought in to replace Pioli. Watch this. You're gonna see. It's gonna be he's cost low because you bring in somebody like the other people we're linked to, Graham Potter and all these guys. They might be on the high wages, Somebody like Jesse March is gonna accept whatever jetty. It's the American brand. Let's do the American brand. We can make more money, and that's what they're gonna do. They're gonna market that for World Cup 2026, which is in 2 years from now. I'm calling that right now. You guys are gonna see.
Nah, none of them will be at Milan for the World Cup. There we go, man. It's anyway. Let's.
But like I said, like go cry yourself to sleep with Dua Lipa, One Kiss. You'll wake up in bed in the bed.
That's you, man. That's not me. You're obsessed with Lipa, not me, man.
Go sleep to her, man.
That's what you do. That's what you're doing recently.
Man, go sleep to Dua Lipa. Will go give you a hug in London, man. It's okay, bro. It's I know it's depressing, man, especially after that game. Yo, it's because you guys got on the chat, right? Ever since that loss against Dortmund, I don't want to hear nothing Milan. I didn't want to look at anything Milan until that interview, and I was like, oh fuck, this shit was so depressing, bro. The injury, it's oh man, there's so much stuff that just bores. I'm like, why do I have to support this team? Why do I have to suffer? Why can I not be a Man City fan or any of these plastic guys and just hop on? But I'm not like that. It's hard to even turn into that. I don't even know how people do this, but it's like, fuck. I think back, I'm like, maybe I should have started supporting Madrid when I was a kid, which I had that chance to become one of them. But yeah, I'm in for the ride, man. Yeah, at the end of the day, Milan is the love of my life. Yeah, I always said that, it's never going to change. Like you said before, like, these guys are caretakers. They're going to leave. Trust me. Everybody leaves. Berlusconi left. They're going to leave. They're not going to be here long. And that's just the reality of it. Yeah, we'll see what happens, but it's sad. It's depressing because if Maldini came and gave them props, I would have a little bit of hope. But I think that interview it's a deal breaker, and people can nip. Yeah.
Maldini in this interview was still very respectful and classy. He didn't call anybody names. He wasn't rude. He was still classy, even though they just completely just try to destroy him. And the fact that people are still backing the management, bro, go support another team, bro. I don't want you as a fan of Milan. Go support another team. Go support Inter or go support the EPO club or something like that. I don't want fans like that, bro. It's embarrassing to have people like that. It really is.
No, I mean, Nathan, here's what I'm going to tell you. I don't agree with this. It's like, let people have the different opinions on how they see management. I think time will tell who's on the right side. Because that's one thing I'm not going to do. I'm not going to... time will tell. Go ahead.
Don't be cocky, though. Don't be like you know the truth, like you know everything, and you are the person that has the all knowledge in football, and we are all idiots. At least don't be cocky. So I understand why Nathan is upset. At least be humble. And start to reconsider your
people. We have people right now still backing them. Like, bro, come on, man. I cannot take any of that seriously.
Yeah, I mean, the season is not over. I always say this: we wait until the end of the season. At the end of the day, I know where I stand in regards to that management. I'm from the United States. I'm American. I know how Americans they run stuff. From you to me, Nathan. 90% of American franchise teams, in terms from the sporting perspective, they're run poorly. They're good at making money, but 90% of American teams, no matter if it's in the football, American football, basketball, the teams that are trash, they've been trash for the past 40, 50 years. You agree with me on that, Nathan? They don't win shit because they don't care, and that's what it is.
Clint, listen, things will get better because I'm seeing it with my eyes. Juventus playing one game a week is winning all of them. and Juventus is an average team. It's not a good team. The coach is not good. Everything is wrong in that club at the moment, apart from the fact they play young players. And they stay winning every game. So the things will get good, not because these people are good. It's because Serie A, if you have one game a week and you prepare that game, you most of the time you win it because you spent 130 million in this summer. And you're playing against teams that have spent 5 million in the last summer. And probably the teams you are competing, Roma, Lazio, have 1/3 of your budget. So they will get good, not because these guys are good. It's because that is the level. We've seen it with Juventus playing once a week. It's fucking smashing it. So that's what's going to happen to this team.
And it also proves the point. It also proved Maldini's point, because why are you going out to try to get a Zlatan if you have everything figured out?
Yes.
If you think
Clint, we lost you. Nathan, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
We lost Clint. So if you want to say something.
I just, for me, I cannot. The one of the things I don't like is disrespect, and you can't come in and disrespect Maldini, the club, the history, the values, and then back the management when they literally spit on all of the reasons why you're even a Milan fan to begin with. Like, I'm sorry, I won't. Like I said, go support another club. You are a Milan fan for the same reason everybody is. And if someone comes in and spits on it and you side with them, bro, you ain't a real fan. I'm gonna maintain that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I agree.
it's about principle here. Like, it's a principle. Like, you don't do that. Like, if let's say me and you, you know, we're friends, and you invite me over to our family gathering, and I trash your place, call your family idiots and this and that, you should be pissed off.
Yeah. We don't agree on values, on important values in life. So
Right. So everyone's a Milan fan because we follow these values. Like, so for someone to come in and just spit on everything and then you take their side, nah, bro. Like,
some
you're pretty
people
much dead to me.
did just see the football, man, and some people don't see the values, don't see.
Larry, we were told we were cookie and we were gonna win the Scudetto after 3 games.
Oh yeah, exactly. Now they are saying we're gonna turn it around. No, man, it's not. If we turn it around, it's not a success. It's a massive failure. We had the chance to win the second star. We spent 130 million. This is a gigantic failure. And if Inter wins the league, it's the biggest failure of our history. This is the biggest failure of our history. That's massive.
yeah,
failure.
but I also think the thing is this. I think it's also the audacity, right? The entitlement, the arrogance. You come in. It's easy to come where something is already established, not knowing the foundation. I mean, you see what they did at Chelsea. You see what the Glazers did at Man United. And you come and you destroy a castle that was built, from the ground up. But the thing is this, like I always say, time will tell who's in the right. Time never lies, bro. People can lie, people can deceive, but the time will expose you. You will get exposed, essentially. If you didn't need Maldini, if you, Forlani, think you were the god of everything, at the end of the season, time will fucking tell. And I'm looking at this level, and I'm not gonna lie. A lot of the purchase we made, I was happy with them. I'm like, okay, it's gonna bring something. But again, when these guys they bring in, when it's not suited for the environment, because I wouldn't really want to focus on the environment and the culture. When that's not there, when that's removed, right? It's like you're driving a freaking like luxury car to the hood. It's like driving a luxury car to the hood. If you drive a luxury car to the hood, guess what's gonna happen? People are gonna come in, they're gonna rob you, and you're gonna look stupid because you know what? You're a fraud. Because why you don't live in a gated community if you have a Rolls Royce? You understand me? Yeah, you don't understand it because it was given to you, and you bring it back to your shit, and you think, oh, I know it, I know how. It's mine. No, you don't, because if you work your way up and you were able to save your money, be good in your finance, and acquire certain things, you're gonna know like that's not a good idea to do, right? And I'm using that analogy because that's what's essentially what's happening, right? You don't know the history. Yeah, I got quick funds. Let me just get this. Here we are, And we brought all these players, and there's a good play. When I people like Ruben and all that, let's not get it wrong. There's a good players. It's just they came in a wrong environment, and they got the timing of it and the way they're being utilized. I think it's been poorly done. I think
Well,
that was a
it's
foresaw.
it's not really their fault because these guys are all good at going forward. Remember, at the beginning of the year, I said our team is going to have to be carried by the
And
offense.
no, and I agree with you completely because it is the thing is it's not because these midfielders are bad, wrong profiles, no defensive midfielder. I completely agree with that. I'm not even going to refute. I agree because you look at it, it's just the wrong profile, the wrong system at the wrong time. That as much as I hate Pioli, yes, you can blame him, but you can also gotta look at the Moncada, at the Fulanis. If you know you're gonna fire Maldini, at least bring actually a real sporting director. I wouldn't even be mad if Tade was over here, like we were
And
linked to.
and Clint, look
But
at this. Look at this. Right now, we have players that can only do one thing. ROC is only good at passing the ball. Loftus-Cheek is good at driving forward, and Musa is just Energizer Bunny. But none of these guys are able to do small portions of the other thing. Like when
Is
we had Benacer, Tonali, and Kessie was a tank. Benacer was also a tank, but he can pass like reindeers. And you have Tonali who can do all of the above, and that balanced out our midfield well. But now we don't have anything other than players that can go forward, and then for whatever reason they believed in Krunic can do what Kessie, Benacer, Tonali could do, and that was never the case.
I'll tell you something. One thing that Tonali and Benacer had, especially Benacer has, is pressing resistance. So
Yeah.
when somebody comes at him to press him, he knows how to get out of that situation. But Tonali and Benacer are both good. I think Tonali even better at pressing. They are so good off the ball. They eliminate the space around you, so you don't know where to
And
put
they
it.
recover, and
And
they can
recover and
recover.
run a lot.
and that's a big culprit, right? That's our big flaw. And I really study the games. I watch all the different teams. Like Calcio, I watch all the problem with Milan is with this new team, they don't know how to invite pressure because when you invite pressure, it creates that space because you don't have the guy that can build from that
Exactly.
back. As much as Rangers is good on the ball, we can't he can't recover from
I'll
defense
tell
where
you
they try
what,
to make him to be.
Clint,
I
listen to
can I
me.
can admit that.
If you keep Tonali and you have Benacer and you add Reinders and Ruben, you have improved the midfield. You have added something to that midfield because you have pressing resistance, you have passing abilities, you have ability to press. And even if Reinders is not good at pressing, training and playing with Tonali and Benacer, he will learn how to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm not against the buying of these people.
Loftus-Cheek as well too.
They should have been put on top of the players that we already have, not sell, move. For example, I repeat this millions times. Salamex is good at pressing, runs a lot. Keep him in the bench. He's a valuable
And
player.
helping the
Was a
right back.
hero. Exactly, helps you a lot. And in an emergency situation, can play different positions as well. And he's healthy, doesn't get injured a lot, stays healthy a lot, and it doesn't cost you a lot. So keep him. Players that are valuable, they don't get injured, they play a lot of games, they run a lot, they press well. You keep them. Maybe you move them to the bench. They are not key players anymore, they become bench players, but you keep them. We completely changed everything. Like, completely. Why? Why the fuck you change everything? One of the advantages we had every season against other teams was that we had the same group, so they were quick starting, always ready and understand each other, even in difficult moments. We changed that. So the players we bought, they are good. They are valuable. If they were put on top of already what we had, that would have been perfect.
Yeah,
And that's
because
what I think.
none of these guys are not known for their tactical ability. In Serie A, it's good that you're skillful. Like that's cool. But if you don't have a tactical brain, you will not be successful in this league. That's just how it is.
I
Like
need to
if you don't know
apologize.
if you don't know how to break down a defense, or break down a counterattack, who cares if you can pass the ball or run forward? You're not going to be successful. That's just how it is in Italy. Maybe in England and Spain you can get away with garbage like that, but in Italy, where people understand the game
Yeah.
at a from a fundamentally tactical level, bro, you're gonna get ate up, bro. You're the flavor of the month for only a little while, and then everybody gets used to you, and then you see what happens.
Listen, I need to apologize to you, Nathan and Clint, especially because I saw the other day against Borussia Dortmund, Chaka Traore, and I think the guy's ready. I think we should have not spent money on Okafor. We should have put Chaka Traore there as a replacement bench player for Leao, things like that. That's it. That's the reality. We should not have spent 15 million for Okafor. Chaka Traore, 19, 20 years old, come to the first squad free. These are mistakes.
But you know, it's funny, Larry. Shaka Torre, we bought him when he was already playing first team football, and we completely destroyed him by sending him back. And now he's just finally, trying to find his feet again when he should have been with the seniors from the beginning. Like, it's decisions like that that are just laughable. It's really laughable to me.
It's a mistake because you save money. You save 15 million. You have a guy that is from the Primavera. Is quite fairly healthy because he's young. He will be on the bench, happy to play Coppa Italia, play when Leao is injured or needs to, rest. And plus, if Leao is injured, you can always start Pulisic on that left and have another guy on the right. And Chaka Traore can still be your second guy. So I think it was a big mistake. I honestly think Chukwueze was a big mistake. A lot of money, 25 million. And now I'm seeing Chaka Traore ready to go. He should have been instead of Okafor. So you save that money, 25 and 15. That is 40 million. Buy a striker. Then that's it.
Or a center back, or a CDM.
Those are offensive players. So buy a striker. So you want to add something to the
fine.
offensive part? With that money, you wanted to buy offensive player, buy a striker. And you have Selemakers, Pulisic on one side with Romero, Chaka Traore and Leao on the left side. Bang. So, proper striker, 40 million striker, and Giroud. That's it. Same amount of money, spent differently. That's simple. It is simple. Yeah, CDMs, center midfield, defensive midfielders. We should have bought defensive midfielders. We didn't buy them. We bought still good players, but they're not center defenders. So now we need a different coach that plays with more offensive players, which if you get a different coach that plays more offensive players, he will struggle a lot at the beginning because offense, it takes a while to build, to create a game. It's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a fucking mess.
And if you notice, Dortmund was playing like an Italian team.
Yeah.
And we could not break them down. So part of the problem I had with the way this team was set up, is we got all these midfielders that have no clue how to break down a team. Sure, they can run forward, but what happens when you get to the final third and everybody's behind the ball? Where are the ideas coming from? And none of them have any ideas. Pulisic, for as skillful as he is, you could tell that from a tactical level, he's not there. And him being isolated all game, he was a non-factor. Only Chukwueze had that one moment of magic, and that was it. None of these players have a brain of how to break down teams. So, this summer was a disaster. I can literally go in for days about what's wrong.
Yeah. Anyway,
and this isn't hindsight. People like to say, "Oh, you're just saying this now." No, bro. Many of us have been saying this since the beginning of the market.
But
Yeah, we'll-
Nathan, you also like to be arguing, but don't entertain. Just stick with opinion, bro. You know what's the outcome gonna be. You go beyond the things of insanity. You know they're gonna say that, and you always fall in these traps. And I'm like, bro, don't be. You love arguing too. It's like you got time in your hands all the time.
I agree.
You know,
I should
be
just
like,
stop.
yo, just let it. Like that's
But
what
I just
I'm like, bro, don't.
I just can't wrap my brain around the fact that
It
some
gets
people are
redundant.
just like crazy like that. Like
It's
it
just what
just
it is. You know, black is white. You know, you can't cross that. He's like, you know what? Keep your joint. Now, if it's a debate on something else, I can understand. But if it's over the same topic where we know where you stand, because if you pay attention, Light, you don't see Light no more engage in any type of stuff.
yeah.
He doesn't, because it's a way you're chasing the win.
Yeah, it's pointless.
Exactly. But you keep falling for it. Oh, it's like, no, but wait, and then you go back. It's like, bro, that's what I said. You just, bro, are we here again? We know what people say. Let's talk about something else. You know.
Another thing is, I argue with people when I feel there is a chance to change their mind. No matter if I'm wrong or right, I feel my idea, I can change their mind. So I argue with that people because I feel there is an opening and they can change their mind. But when I have in front of me people that will never change their mind, whatever happens, I don't even argue anymore because it ruins the fun, you know? When we discuss football here, I feel like I can change your mind. Even if it's not going to happen, it doesn't matter. But that's the fun of the argument and talking about it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, these things lead. It's no longer the debate idea. It's personal attacks and all that stuff. It's like it doesn't dwell in that, and it comes back over and over. So it might as well leave. Better off share a link. Somebody has an opinion. When you share a link, somebody has an opinion. They put it down, and we have that thing back and forth. I think let's focus on Milan. That's the thing why in the chat I don't really interact. I'll talk football or I can make jokes in and there, but it's no more. I mean, we're to the point where now even Floki now is the freaking voice of reason. He doesn't even engage in any of that stuff no more. You know, you rarely even see him coming forward because these things become old quickly. So it's just. That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, you know where you stand on your stuff. Like I said, the summer comes through. You can be like, yep, I told you so. You do whatever you want to do. But like, the back and forth name calling or people in that talent, let them have it.
And by the way, I read some messages and I saw a really offensive message towards you, Nathan.
Oh, I already know which one it is.
You know which one it is.
Yeah.
Because I know a bit of you. I know your background. And I think that was a bit disgusting, I'll be honest. It was like pointless. Are we at that point? I mean, it's just fucking football, man.
And that's what I get at, right? You know. And I have my stuff with Roy, or I go and I want to troll him. But at the end of the day, we're all grown men, you know, we are human. And Nathan would tell you, like, you know, I met Nathan, the same debates what I'll have with him. That's something I'll tell him when we're face to face, when we're together and we speak. Like last time at the athletical shit, Nathan, I mean, you can vouch for that. You know, we're having a debate. We're talking about the joint. Like the way we're arguing, we're talking about it stops at football. I'm not going to sit here. Let's not. And that's why I'm telling you, Nathan, from you, it's a piece of advice. It's like, bro, just share the link. If it's not a football debate, back away from it. But like, all right, that's it. Don't fall for these things. It's like you know, that's all I'm gonna say.
I'm a bit jealous because you still have the energy to fight.
Exactly.
I wish.
But that's what
I just loves arguing. I just can't. I don't like.
That's why I feel like, listen, you need to be back on the road, boy. You got too much time on your hands. You need to go back and start driving the truck.
That's a good thing, man.
You got too much time on your hands, bro. Because you get it. It's like, what am I gonna argue about? And it's like you're looking for it too. It's like, bro, stop, man. Like, fuck. I want to see like some good debate. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me hop in. Like the way when we're doing back and forth with the injury, with the player injury, it's stuff like that I want to have. Not going back, oh, Calabria shit. See, Calabria did this. Boom. Then we're back again to the same, you know, point of origin again with the whole Calabria narrative. Okay, if we know we've done this debate over and over, let's move on to something else. The injury player thing is something new. Exchange of ideas. Let's go with what it is, and we can debate that. Everybody can put out their opinion. I feel like that's what this community is for.
And really? I was telling everyone we should buy Singo. Who fucking cares about the right wing? Buy Singo. He's a good player. We will find a way to play him. I was telling him, and people were not listening to me. Anyway, Nathan, I'm gonna close it. It's been 2 hours and a half. It was a great talk. Things will get better.
It'll get better. Like it'll get better. Like I said, follow my recommendation. Cry to Dua Lipa, One Kiss.
Dua Lipa.
Put down the Apple in your Apple Music playlist, and you'll be good to go, man.
Is that what you do, Clint? That's what you do?
Hey, bro, that's my favorite song, man. Stop playing.
Is your favorite song?
I thought it was money laundering.
Oh no! Don't bring that guy back here. I was playing his little game. I was playing his little game in the chat earlier. He was getting happy, but no, I don't want him to come back in.
The
CIA. Yeah, I don't want that.
That's not my favorite song of Dua Lipa.
So you did listen to her. Look at you.
For me, my favorite song, I think I have 3 songs that are my favorite of Dua Lipa.
Just say you like her whole catalog then.
I like the first one, the one she became famous. That is on that. That is in London. Her first song.
Yeah, like the one.
You know why I like that song? Because that was the year that I came in London as well.
Oh, okay. 2016, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I came like a few months before, end 2015, but that song came in 2016. Yeah. So that was my first year in London.
Hopefully, I can convince, or you can convince her to buy Milan with her little money she has, or buy a stick.
No, man, you said it before. Flamini is our only savior.
It's our guy, yeah. Flamini
is our guy, man. If he wakes up one day bored and say, you know what, let me buy Milan.
Yeah, dude, that's our guy. I'm gonna try to convince him, but we'll see, dog. We'll see, man. But yeah, like close the live, man. Good talk. We'll see what the game. What happens with the game tomorrow? I don't want to watch it because I feel like if we lose to Frosinone, then my season might end really soon. So we'll see.
No. Listen. I don't know what's gonna happen with Frosinone, but it looks scary, man. And we're an injury away to become this season to become a disaster. One injury away to become a disaster. So yeah, let's close the live. So I don't care about the result against Frosinone. The only thing I don't want is major injuries and to hopefully have a stable and balanced game. Forza Milan, guys. Clint, Forza Milan, Nathan, Forza Milan, and
Forza.